Right, so keep an eye on it. Just stay here a second to see if it goes live.
Okay.
So yeah, it'll be live.
I don't know how the delay works for going live. Does it start now and it just goes live in 2.5 minutes, or?
No. It'll go live in 126 seconds from now.
Right. Okay.
So whatever's on my stream and whatever I'm speaking about now will be. Right, so we should be back live again, ladies and gents. We're sorry, apologise for that.
Right.
But yeah, we're all live. We're all ready. 5-minute delay was done. We're making sure, but there we go. Going to get back into it. We're going to go straight back into it because we don't want to be delaying everybody's evening. So we're going to start that match for match number 2 on Stormpoint. There's the leaders on the board that you can see. This is both brackets, winners and losers brackets for anybody that's missed out. So far, so good for Toast and Mista. You can see Maple on the other side in the losers bracket there, 29 points from themselves and 17 kills as well. So they've had a good start to their map 1. Now we're going to Stormpoint map number 2. All the same POI drafts as before. Is the game scenario going to finish off differently, knowing who's around them, how their game ended off last time? We'll have to wait and see. We're going to jump on board now. Looking at this draft as things are done. Do you see any single changes whatsoever when it comes to the draft? I don't see it, but
I don't see it really either. I think we might see 1 or 2 changes. We're seeing a Mirage from the Red Lotus, but I'm unsure if we saw that from them last game. I think we've seen Mirage a couple of times from them throughout the summit, so it's interesting to see it brought out not once here, but twice from Outlaws as well as they decide to bring it out. I see a couple more Ramparts as well come through. But other than that, not really too many shifts when it does come to the legend selections so far in game number 2 off the back of game 1. If you're just joining us, well, welcome. The same thing happened that you would probably expect. We had Toast and Mista take home game number 1 to add to their total of 9 games won so far throughout the summit over the course of only 13 matches played. So their win rate is pretty good so far, and I'm interested to see if they're going to carry out their win streak here as we head forward into game 2.
Yeah, certainly. I assume they're not going to put any brakes on their steam train that they have going here. I'm pretty sure they're going to all steam ahead, full steam ahead, whatever you wish to call it. But they're definitely looking to try and amount as much points to make sure they're guaranteed in that winners finals match points. I'm sure we don't miss out seeing Toast Mister for sure. I'm pretty sure it'll be a very big ask for them not to be in the match point finals out of these 20, but you just never know, do you? There's anything can happen. Sometimes they've had games where they've just not finished in the points whatsoever and died without any kills. But if anybody's going to push them and try and get them out of the game, it's a very difficult task to do. You're going to have to do it early on when they've not got everything that they need to use to their disposal, because that's when more players and more teams are at their weakest.
And to win a zone like that, by the way, that we just saw from them, from all the way down from Sen-Ok Cave, just shows how well they've perfected this edge playstyle. They managed to make their way up past Stormcatcher, past Lightning Rod, and all the way round. And I mean, it pretty much shows they can handle anything that's thrown at them, because guess what? You're going to have a similar situation, arguably a little bit more difficult this time, heading over towards potentially the wall, or potentially off the other side of that wall over towards North Pad and that sort of open area. We'll get to see where it's going to go, but a couple of teams who are going to have priority here. Of course, the Old Men of Noctum, and, you know, like we saw at Graffiti Gorillas last time, we haven't talked about them that much, but they are going over at the wall. I'm interested to see if maybe they can have a bit more of a more exciting performance here on the stream than they did in Game 1, because this is their second favourable zone, so it'll be a little bit of an unfortunate situation if they weren't able to put up any points, you know, from two zones that have been to their POI.
Yeah, definitely. Now that we're here as well, Greg, are you still here?
Yeah, all good. I'm going to go. Bye-bye.
Okay, perfect. Appreciate it. That's all I needed to know. We need to know we're live and we're good and everything is going smoothly eventually. Speaking of going smoothly though, Chico is very, very close to opposition here. He's trying to take some shots with the Nemesis. And that's against Liverports. But Liverports have got themselves a mortar. They've also got the shield on it. They've got a mortar chasing them on down here as well. Are they going to be chasing each other in a similar scenario? Both going to get that Gibby bubble, turn their motor into a tank pretty much. Unstoppable as they both rotate opposite directions away from each other. It's probably clever if you're the Liverport squad, because you don't want to be taking that early fight. But speaking of early fight, they get themselves into a position where enemies are at, and that's going to be Gabon Gaming Team. You've got the new 8811 trying to do some work, but Gibby Bubble's just going to protect that car as they rotate around the map, and they also pop the shield as well in the meantime, just to make sure they're protected in their back.
It's become a bit of a meme here in the summit, hasn't it? The Gibby Trident tank. But we will get to see on the other side of the zone some of the teams who are going to be making their rotation in gradually. We've seen a couple of them already, and we're going to see another one as Liverports. Like we talked about them earlier, I just thought I'd swap back over to that because they try to speed directly into the Old Men of Noctum, and you cannot be doing that. Liverport, all of them pretty weak here in the grand scheme of things, but they are going to be able to heal back up just for a moment. However, Old Men of Noctum look like they're trying to find this angle, trying to find these picks with these G7s, with these marksman weapons, and now have an opportunity to shoot them out the car once again. It does look like, though, that Liverports will be able to get away for the time being, and now we're going to get a chance to see where they choose to reside. On the other side of things, though, it's a little bit of carnage when you look at the rest of the map.
Oh yeah, definitely. Speaking of carnage, you've got Yukon in a fight here, and you're off against Toaster Mista. I've managed to find one. That is Cherry that will fall. Where is the rest of the team? Lou Hardy's just took some good shot to the head there. He's going to be taking it down, and that's exactly what Toaster Mista squad needs to keep alive, because Toaster Mista, if they've got their killer on the floor, yes, they've got the Newcastle shield potentially to block them off, but they're going to have to try and jump on in there as Chico, and I'm not even going to say his name, but it's Hawk, because it's Hawk in the brackets in the clan tag. We'll call him Hawk, because I am not trying to say VPHQ, it's true, that's Bilopoulos, because that's not going to work out. But he finds the kill, is traded out. It's going to be Chico as the last man alive. Yukon's going to get the, well, tries to get the revive, drops him though. Falls
off a cliff, and is that going to be the result of the hopes of Yukon here in this fight? Gibby trying to dance around, but has been chunked out by the Peacekeeper. The Peace has been destroyed, and Toaster Mista for second out of this lobby. The winners will not be going back to back here. And, you know, you talked earlier about some of the less good games, the very few less good games that Tosta Mista have been having, well, that's going to be one of them. On the other side of the things, Peen, they're in a fight against 2girls1Gibby over towards the centre of our zone, and 2girls1Gibby have managed to find a knock here onto Newcastle, but Peen looking to challenge on the rooftop, looking to get involved. Lifeline Res going to come through here as the President tries to hold on, tries to stand his ground, but will fall. Peen are going to be eliminated, and 2girls1Gibby, well, they said in the quick chat before that their normal Gibby is on holiday, but I believe they're still holding strong here regardless.
Yeah, that is phenomenal. Like, these are two really big teams like Payne falling very early on. Not to mention Tosta Mista. Like, this two of the teams that you're expecting to be all the way through to kind of near the end zones, at least top 5 positioning for both of them, both out the first 2 in the lobby. And that's exactly what you need to do, though, if you're any of these other teams in the lobby. Knowing fine well, these guys are going to be your competition. If they get you out early, that's going to be huge detrimental to whether you go and progress yourself into that winners match point finals, or if you have to then be dropped into losers for next week. So getting them off early, it's going to give a chance for teams to get some kills on the board. And speaking of kills, everybody in that top north-hand side of the bubble are all starting to get very, very close together. There's a few teams needing to rotate around, but you have 4 teams all within a very short period of each other. Anybody peeks, there's going to be an instant fight straight on. But Bart, the Liverports, are right on top of the opposition team. And that's Gabon Gaming Team, I'm sure. Yeah, it is. Liverpool and Gabon Gaming Team on the same area, on top of each other. You've got Noctum on the other side, all in these huts, just trying to, like, bide their time, because this is exactly where the zone's pooling. They want to try and stay till the end zone, try and get what they could possibly get out of it. And yeah, wait till the very end, because all 3 paws are secured and the teammates around them are pretty much just keeping to get points, add up as much damage as possible, just to give yourself that extra shield that's all needed. But don't think anybody's going to leave their positions, but FTR are needing to try and get into a position at this moment in time.
Yeah, well, before we saw a bit of a Newcastle Catalyst Gibby sandwich stacked there on top of those bubbles like we saw, but now you've highlighted FDR, and rightfully so. FDR, a team who, have had some success, but a lot of times, have just been a little bit off of a win, a little bit off of getting a couple more points when needed, and they have managed to crack their way into this top 20, but now you've got to finish in the top 10 if you want to get to those finals, or you will be seeing yourself in another match next week, another series next week. For the meantime, though, FDR going to pop this evac tower and going to see where they're going to get themselves into zone. They have pinged out one of the buildings, one of those circular buildings, but Anti currently find themselves residing in it. So I'm interested to see if this play is going to work out for them. But no, Drails has dropped down, has unfortunately fallen in an unfortunate position, and now has to try and stabilize things. The rest of FDR also going to land on him, but I think they've all clearly recognized here, Mark, that this is not the spot that they want to be in.
No, but they were trying to get out of the way because they were choked down by Nappy militants on the other side of that tunnel. And they knew if they go and take that way, they were against purple shields, a full purple shields, and they had to just find their way into the circle area somehow, somewhere. And that's the only way they kind of thought necessary, is every other team outside the zones are starting to make their way in. There's no fights going on the outside. We've still got 16 squads left here. And see what happens when you don't have Tosta Mista in the lobby. You've got so many teams fighting in towards these round 2 circles.
Well, FDR, they're taking a bit of a fight here, or they were trying to, until Freezy was shredded out of the sky. Now Drails' turn to take some of the damage here. It's coming in from all over the place. What happened there is they tried to breach into one of the nut buildings, but unfortunately there was a catalyst already blocking the entrance with that passive, so now FDR just have to try and scrap around and survive, as you see Romanov trying to pop these cells to do anything, but just being angled out constantly from all these different teams. 2girls1Gibby being one of these teams who have found themselves staring at this team on top of the rooftop, who have that bubble down, and Piku Alu with that charge rifle ready to find those angles, but they're just utilising those shields, the team on top of the roof, so well. I mean, I don't know if you know this, but if you use your shields correctly with Newcastle and Gibby, you will 100% of the time permanently have a shield available.
Yeah, you use it correctly, use that rotation and your timings and stuff. I don't know. I'm not the expert when it comes to them. I literally get myself a shield thrown out and I'm dead before the shield even must definitely save me because my reaction times are that slow compared to these guys. It's definitely used well. You can keep it going and you can keep yourself in a protected bubble for as long as possible, which is exactly what these teams will be doing and looking to do till this circle slowly builds its way down. And speaking of building its way down, sadly KCL Koalas are downed, and they're going to be our 4th team out of the lobby in this one. But considering where we're at this point in time, round 3 is about to start soon, and we still have 15 teams left. I'd say full teams, but all of their teams pretty much that they've got full members. I've got full members. The 2 of Outlaws, they've still got 2 of them alive. So I mean, it's anybody's game at this point in time, and it's not even a high kill game for any players really.
Absolutely, and I think when it comes to zones like this, when it comes to the stakes that we're in right now, you really can't afford to attempt to have those pop-off high kill games and then just keep getting third party, because that's what would happen in this situation if you tried to do that. On the other side of things, we do see the next zone. It is going to be pulling directly towards 2girls1Gibby, who made their claim to this spot early on in the game, and this is where it's starting to pay off, when everyone's going to have to funnel towards you and they're just not going to have anywhere to play. They're not going to have any cover, so the ping's coming out, making sure that they all know that, to watch their back, because that's really going to be the danger point, the point where you can really bleed here in this zone. But I've recognised no one is at a direct threat of pushing them from behind, so they're in a good spot for the time being. 14 teams remaining in this lobby, but I suspect that will drop very, very soon as we look over towards the wall where Gen Z Orbital need to breach this door. But unfortunately, they're being gate kept out a little bit there. There's fights happening all over the place as, like you're watching on stream right now, Nappy Militant's also in this choke, trying to see what they can do to rotate their way into Storm, because they're just diving into the fire and the flames and the massive shots raining out. Dingleberry Sniffer is going to go down, and Nappy Militant's just trying to hold on. Everyone around them. On the other side of things, the wall fight is ensuing. A little bit of radio commentary here, I know, but Graffiti Gorillas are currently taking down Gen Z Orbital, but they've turned the tides around and are looking to switch things up and eliminate Graffiti Gorillas. So Gen Z Orbital are going to come to claim the bunker area, and in the meantime we are going to see the Nappy Militant survive as well.
And Nappy Militants are actually holding the team off though, to be honest. In the inside there, they're the ones that were like waiting out, because it's the team of Gen X Ballistics inside, and they've just not been able to get themselves out of here. They're trying to get themselves revived, trying to watch in, but the Nappy Militants are just waiting them out and holding them out to the zone, because it's about to start, and it's about to start moving very, very soon. They're going to have to make a way, but it looks like Minimums is going to bled them out, and all of a sudden, Gen 11 Basilics are out of the lobby, and we've got to our top 11 now. One more away from top 10. Good opportunity here now for teams to kind of start making points and making headway into the zone. As you can see, it's pool, and like it says, 2girls1Gibby in a perfect spot where they are pulling, and they're already onto that little small island of themselves. It's just rockery though. It's going to be a very difficult fight near the end once it gets to this.
The question is, will it get to that point? Because this zone, a lot of it is going to be water, a lot of it is going to be open, and when all those teams have to funnel outside those nut buildings, it is going to be absolutely chaos. And this is where those Newcastles, those Gibbies, those Catalysts are going to come in to start dividing and, holding your own space. But for the time being, we're going to have 30 seconds remaining on the timer, and we're going to have Gen Z Orbital, who sat up in that little bunker. They're going to have to drop, but when is the right play to do it? When are they going to do it? And FDR, as you can see, they're setting up for it. They know it's going to happen, but I wonder if they're going to be able to catch them off guard here a little bit.
Maybe it's a very, very tight space of area, the movements, and like I said, 2girls1Gibby, Old Men have knocked them all that around these nut buildings. There's just so much going on. They're just trading shots back and forward, trying to build themselves shields as well and damage, because more damage, more shields. Some of them still stuck on blue shields at the moment, and nobody really getting major fights out of this yet at this moment in time. And Anti and such, they're trying to find the one team that's trying to still get away from the blocks, but I thought it's literally just a waiting game now. They're waiting on that time for closing. As soon as that ring closes, it's going to become absolutely chaotic, and we're not going to know who to watch and who to be spectating, because everybody's going to have to be making their way into that zone. Nappy Militants are the only ones on the outside edge, and they're just starting to make their way in now. Speaking of ditch, let's see where they are. Old Men have knocked them, trying to watch them.
Well, yeah,
Yes.
chaos is starting to ensue. Gen Z Orbital, they're going to have to move at some point. Gabin Gaming Team are going to fall. There's so much to cover and not enough time to do it. Gen Z Orbital need to move forward, but that team FDR ratting in the corner caught them off guard a little bit. The nades are going to fly through. Yukon also holding space as well, but FDR have taken down Gen Z Orbital on that eastern side of the map. FDR, now another challenger emerges. That's Anti. They've third-partied at the right time, taking that space for themselves. Meanwhile, 2 girls, 1 Gibby hold down that north side.
Yes, it's going to start getting absolutely mental here. And as I say mental, there's like 3 teams on top of each other in about 2 more seconds, because it's going to have to start moving. They're going to have to leave their comfort of their buildings and find a way towards 2 girls, 1 Gibby, who's got the better position here. And they're just going to watch on over all these fights happening. And they might not even have to do much apart from just deal damage from a distance at this point in time.
Yeah, we'll see how this is going to unfold. 7 teams remaining, everyone apart from 2 girls, 1 Gibby gonna have to move, and every single one of them is stacked on top of each other pretty much, apart from a select few. Yukon playing a rock and a hard place on that southern side of the map. On the other side of things, we see Anti, who they took some space earlier on, and they're just waiting, buying themselves time, trying to see if they can get this Catalyst Wall available, but that will be expended. The Newcastle Shield will drop, so there goes their unbreakable, movable cover. They're going to have to move forward with this Gibby bubble and see where it can get them. They're going to look to play with this Trident. The bubble on the Trident, that is so genius in this zone to buy yourself some space. Liverpool's also going to have to move out of the zone as well, alongside everyone else. Yukon have just decided to cross the Red Sea themselves, it almost seems like, because that's what's happening. The teams are just parting the sea and making it their own here. Yukon looking to take the fight.
And he pretty much lost majority of their team here. It's only Monkey alive. He will be taken out though, and Yukon find the kills on them. Now, they've got the red shield. Omen have knocked him fall as well. And we're into our top 5 already. And like we said, this is going to be absolutely hectic. Sibling Destroyers fall. That's then now down to the top 4. Barrett's your top killer, but Nappy Militants have only 1 member left in this here. And he just came up against another. He'll fall as well. And before you know it, we're 2 squads left. It's Yukon versus 2 girls, 1 Gibby. And 2 girls, 1 Gibby have the height advantage. They have that position. And now, just going to beam down on top and wait their time. That charge shot hits 104. Oh, wow, what a shot. I was hoping it'd be a higher charge power shot, and I was maybe going to get the knock. You maybe see them push on down, but not for now, not yet.
No, not yet. The thing is, in these situations, anything can happen, especially in this sort of high cover, high res meta. The positioning, yes, it's great, but move forward with that Newcastle shield and suddenly they're directly underneath them, and that sort of open space has just been mitigated like that. However, when we talk about space, we have to talk about this zone. It is going to be on the side of 2 girls, 1 Gibby. Like we say, the positioning advantage goes to them, playing a couple of different off angles to try and deny as much space as possible over to this Yukon side. They're going to be the ones who have to make a move. They have that defensive bombardment. They're going to have that castle wall in a second, and they are as well going to have that lifeline ultimate. So everything available, all the utility there for Yukon. And I wonder, are they going to go for this Trident play again? The answer is no. They're going to advance forward with this Newcastle shield defensive bombardment ready in the hand as well. This could really play spoiler to 2 girls, 1 Gibby.
Yeah, 2 girls, 1 Gibby were already positioned, but they're going to get that Newcastle wall. The bombardment comes down, but it's not going to do anything here with the Gibby bubble already protecting their position. Now 2 girls, 1 Gibby waiting here, ready to send that
Out the Gibby.
need right down on
Gibby
top again. Is that the Gibby bubble gone from the Yukon as well? And that came down at the perfect time. Majest will fall to it. 2 girls, 1 Gibby, come on down. Massive shots are in. 1 more player left. They're trying to get the res. The Newcastle does get the res, but he's going to go straight for target. And that Newcastle, once again, his teammates down, and that's going to be it. 2 girls, 1 Gibby have won their round, and they were in a very dominant, strong position here for map number 2 for quite a good amount of time on that map here when there was still about 15 teams left in a small bubble space. They just had to wait their time as the bubble was going to make sure that everybody was getting knocked out on their way there, because they all had to collide with one another, and it opened it up now for Yukon to try and get themselves in. They won their fight against the Anti, which was quite considerable, because in the season Anti had the vehicle. They got themselves in there. They got into that zone very quickly. And before you know it ends like that. And Yukon just couldn't find a way against the answering of that domination from 2Girls1Gibby at the top there with the Gibby ult that came at the perfect time. Speaking of which, 2Girls1Gibby top that lobby. 11 kills as well. Yukon, not a bad 2 job as well. 9 kills on the board here, finishing up in 2nd spot. But we do have a few disappointments in the lobby this time around. Red Lotus, Peen, Toaster Mister, just not finding their mark in this one.
Not quite finding their mark, but when we talk about the success story here of 2Girls1Gibby, 2 games it took them, but they managed to get that one they were looking for so far to really kickstart this momentum. They've had it so far a couple of times throughout the summit, but you know, they've struggled to really close out those victories, and they've done so here today in Game 2 of the upper bracket final, netting themselves 11 kills and 12 placement points to bring them to a grand total of 23 points here in this Game 2. So that's going to be a good haul of points for them. And, you know, when we look towards the overall standings, I think you're sort of looking towards 30, 35, 40 points to guarantee yourself a spot in that grand finals. So for 2Girls1Gibby, that's already putting them in a good spot. But when we talk about how they got to that spot, it was, you know, a lot of it based on claiming that position really early on and just, you know, playing the long game. They played their position perfectly and it worked out in the end. And I think that's the value of playing an early rotate, heavy defensive comp in a lobby like this where you are going to have 14, 15 teams alive in those final circles and you're going to have less edge fighting in the early stages of the game. It's now starting to develop into more from what you'd expect in a tournament rather than the typical scrim-like fashion that we've seen so far throughout the summit, where we might get to Zone 4 and we might have about 5 or so squads left. Now, you get to Zone 4 and you've got about 15 squads left. So the pressure, the tenseness, everything's starting to build up here as we reach our final game of Storm Point in the upper bracket final.
Exactly that, and like we said there, with that last win there, the 2Girls1Gibby got that big points haul, put them up in the 3rd spot here in the lobby so far. Nappy Militants get into the 2nd spot, and because of Peen falling out of that, they are not really having 2 good games at all. So far, only on 2 points so far out of the 2 matches. It's just a very low scoring game for Peen, and yes, I'm hoping that they can bounce back, at least in this one as well. Same with Old Men and Knockdom, who've been knocked down to the 9th spot. But it just shows you the other teams in the lobby and how they've been performing. They've kind of got better as the weeks have gone on here.
Scanning the area. Absolutely. And we're hopping into game number 3 here. And we're going to get to see if we're going to be sticking with the same portion of the map with the zones, or if maybe we're going to be heading somewhere else. I have to say it's been quite refreshing to see the zones pull up towards the north because, well, if you're a fan of Apex, you'll know that on Storm Point we typically get a lot of south zones. We see a lot of Pylon, Barometer, Echo HQ, but we rarely see zones go up towards Lightning Rod, Zoo Station, The Wall, and North Pad. So it's been nice to see that so far today, but where's this 3rd zone going to go? Where are we going to see our teams trek towards here in our 3rd and final game on Storm Point? Before we make that jump over to World's Edge and get to see a bit of a change of scenery, a change of POIs, and maybe some of those teams like Peen who picked their POIs on World's Edge, I believe, first, get a bit of power. But here we are, we're going to get the zone, and we're going to be, you know, we're switching back to reality here. We've had a little bit of a change up, but we will be heading directly down towards Barometer. There's not really any messing about with the zone prediction there. I think it's pretty clear, and I think a lot of teams, when you get that 2nd zone information, will be very, very able to tell that we're going down to Barometer.
So that where we're going? How are we going now?
I've cheated.
You've cheated. I thought I was cheating with the button, but it doesn't seem to do that. It gives me an arrow instead. Oh, I'm getting it. There we go. That took its time. What the hell? I was pushing that button for ages. I've been putting that button for ages, but you're right. Down to Barometer. We've cheated the system. We know where we're going. But let's see what people are going to be doing here. 2Girls1Gibby off of a great win there. Bouncing themselves up that lobby. Going to try and continue that, but they are being shot at already. And that's Piku getting shot at from the team of Peen. And Team Peen are definitely needing to get some kill points on the board. They're having to get some points and finishes because so far they finished the winners bracket, well, the 5 weeks in top spot, and they need to realize and show why and how they got there, because they're going to have to do something here to try and give themselves some points and push themselves into that top 10 spot, because so far they're quite a bit behind.
It's a bit of a disappointment for either team to fall out right now, but someone's going to have to, because the fight's starting to ensue. It's either the number one team overall or the number one team from the last match. But Peen, they're going to get down first. The trade's going to come through, and they're going to annihilate 2 girls, 1 Gibby in the final moment in that bubble. Peen stands their ground here, stand strong, and flex their muscles against 2 girls, 1 Gibby.
So once again, we're repeating from match number 2. The team that finished first goes out first in the next game.
You don't want to win.
Girls, 1 Gibby are out. Peen, President Garbanzo, what were you playing at with that Mastiff in hand? That was phenomenal bits of shots there. Every single shot was just connecting, and they were just dealing the damage. They get the win, they get the added points that they need, the shields that they need. They start to give themselves a wee bit of momentum now, and hopefully that will give them a good wee start as the game goes along.
Well, the Red Lotus heading over towards Command Center in a bit of a scrap against FDR, and FDR, they don't have the shield advantage and they don't have the positioning advantage either, really, but they do have this Catalyst ultimate to try and buy them some space if it is needed. The Red Lotus also going to have the utility at hand, and it's just going to be about who's going to get that opening damage, who's going to get that first knock, and who's going to be the one to send it. Texas going to be beamed quite a bit there. We're going to have to pop that drone, maybe pop that ult down as well. We'll have to see. The ult is going to go down, and I like that utility usage there coming through from the Red Lotus, but I wonder if that's going to be the call from FDR to push up, because, to be honest, when you're at a shield deficit here, you're not really going to get a whole lot of chances to, you know, give yourself that opening. So, personally, I think they should have maybe taken that one.
Yeah, I think they should have, but while they're doing that, all the heals are coming in from the Red Lotus, and you know what? It's very interesting. Tix has instantaneously fell relatively quickly this time round, and all of a sudden that's going to be the opportunity for him to push on in. He's in the middle of a revive. That's going to be detrimental there, because he's going to get caught out, and all of a sudden, before you know it, Red Lotus are down to 1 member left, and they're going to start chasing him down.
Surely.
Uh-oh. Don't say it. It's not the toast of Mr. Screw. Nope, it's Peen. Blood Wolves are out. But in the meantime, you've got Lou Hardy in the background here. He's got 1 down a bar, and Darkseid will trade him out here. Darkseid will fall, and all of a sudden Liverports are down. That means that the team... Oh my god, I can't keep up. There's so much going on in this newsfeed here at this moment in time. Merc is the last man alive here for Peen, and so far, they're going to have to try and stay alive as well, because they're just not winning out these gunfight there for some reason. FDR just came out strong on them. I didn't expect that from FDR, and all of a sudden they've got the kills.
From 2 grey armors and hope on a prayer to now 2 team fights won and a hell of a lot of loot. They stand their ground and take down essentially 2 teams there. Smirk is going to be running away and going to have to try and grab those banners at a later moment in this game. But there's a couple more edge fights starting to break out as we look towards the northern side of the zone, and we are going to see Nappy militants here standing up against the old men of Noctum, who have lost their shields a little bit, so going to have to still play their lives and be a little bit careful with how they approach things here, but they have managed to get themselves back to a little bit of a more winnable state. But the Maggie is going to have to back away from Nappy militants as the challenge is coming through on that rock. It's going to have to see some support come through from the teammates soon, or they could very well get angled out pretty quickly here.
Yeah, definitely. And that Old Men of Noctum definitely in a sticky situation here. But it is Nappy Militants, and they're a very strong team as well. We know for a fact that they're not going to back down here. They're going to try and get as much of these points as possible. Meanwhile, Gen 11 Orbital are eliminated here, and that's Yukon that will put them out. Aquazusi, the last player to fall, couldn't stay alive for long enough to try and get his teammates back in. But the fights are in. The Peacekeeper shots are in. It's 1 apiece here. Alex falls. Jekka is going to get another, and he's going to eliminate the Old Men of Noctum, and they're not going to see another few fights until we go on to World's Edge, because that is a rough start for Noctum as well. They're not looking as strong as they have been in previous weeks.
More fights happening. FDR once again involved as we head over to the opposite side of the map, and KCL Koalas are now the team that they stand up against. They've got them backed into a corner. They've got them exactly right where they want them here. Romanov trying to throw down some spikes here to disrupt potentially some of the space that they can take, but Peen, they're also back up on their feet and getting large and in charge of the fight here as the Valkyrie ultimate is going to come down. The bubble actually saves them a little bit, buys them a second. Will it buy them their lives? It will indeed. But now Peen, they've revealed themselves. They know that Well, they're still, a bit of a threat around here. FDR have retreated over to this building, but FDR also know of Peen's positioning, and now they spot one of them out. Newcastle shields broken, and FDR have an advantage in the fight.
Yeah, this is exactly what they're going to do. They're going to try to hold him off. They've won this fight against the two of them, at least so far in this matchup. They're looking to try and continue it here, knowing that it's a full team here. It could be extra kills once again. Is they already found two of them against them? Can they find another two? Or even a full squad wipe this time around as Peen start to make their move down that hill, going to go towards the building. I'm sure they're going to try and rotate around past it, but you do see the team of FDR trying to make it through the evac station, and they will get up and out of the way and get a good bit of distance away from Peen.
So far for this match, we've seen a lot of unnecessary fights. We've seen a lot of teams taking fights because they can. I think we're starting to get to a point in the game now where we're having a bit of a point panic, a couple of teams are, where they maybe haven't grabbed as many points as they would have liked to so far, and are trying to change their playstyle to accommodate for that. But I think you've got to look at it less of a fact of, let me try and top this lobby, and more of a fact of, let me get us a spot in the finals in general. You keep playing that consistent playstyle and hope it works out. Nappy Militants, though, they're looking to take charge of this fight over by Cascade Falls as they're getting the angles here on FDR, although they have backed off a little bit. On the other side of things, down in Barometer, we see Tosta Mister standing off against Dogs of Hell, and Dogs of Hell, they hold down this upper side of the building with this Rampart shield, with this Sheila at the ready. But Tosta Mister, I wonder how they're gonna, what their plan is to try and breach this.
Yeah, very difficult one, but that snapping headshot there, well, the Master's going to break that shield here of the Rampart, and yeah, maybe back them off a little bit here, because you know how strong Tosta Mister is. Maybe it's going to be a bit of a, right, are we going to get the opportunity? The Gibby Bubbles in. All of a sudden, they're going to try and make that space count. It's actually going to work out for them to stay in this fight here. And it doesn't actually give them a chance to push on in, because the replacements in the other team of Dogs of Hell are trying to stay alive as much as possible here. Trying to find every angle. They're just not finding the shots on the inside. Eventually, these shields will fall, but the shield is just looking at that doorway, hoping that they'll walk on in. I
mean, the effort that the window cleaners were going to there, Mark, to try and get those windows clean there. Jump in, trying to find those angles, you know, trying to get those little bit of windows clean. But no, they decided that the owners didn't in fact order what they asked for, and have decided to back away. On the other side of things, we have seen a couple of more unnecessary fights happen on Edge, and a couple more rotations that might not end the way that some teams want them. FDR, they've made a bit of a run so far, but now they're going to have to run away because Nappy Militants are putting pressure on them up that hill. And, well, fortunately for FDR, they are going to escape, but Nappy Militant's going to try and go round, and by the looks of things, maybe look to cut them off here.
Yeah, that's a good idea for them, but Nappy Militants is going to run into Peen as well here, potentially. The way they're crossing across from each other, the pings are out. Peen have spotted them. Now, they're going to start thinking about who they're taking their shots at here and try and coordinate it as much as possible to try and get a knock at least. Because President Gabronzo will definitely slide on in there with that Pathfinder, with the zipline. I'm sure he'll make sure he can jump in there with that Mastiff and try and take the final pop shots to finish off the team. If he can get anywhere near them, that is what he'll do, because he's one for hunting for kills. He definitely loves to go for them kills.
And while that's happening, I'll just give you an update on the Dogs of Hell Tosta Mister situation, because it's already kicking off. The spikes are down, the bubbles down, the shields are down, and the shotguns are out here. The Sheila also in session, and Dogs of Hell barking forward at this squad of Tosta Mister and trying to, well, really sort of aggress out this building, I guess, in a sense, when they did peek their heads in, but they've been kept on their leash for the time being. But for how long? Tosta Mister fly in the front door, and now the Sheilas are going to have to be put away. The shotguns, get them out, because they're going to be needed. Tosta Mister fly in the front door, but they may be sent packing as Chico has going to be forced to pop that bubble. Mastiff out in the hands of the Newcastle as the knocks are traded through, and Tosta Mister, well, they now show why they're so disciplined in this lobby, because Dogs of Hell, they got that opening, but they overcommitted a little bit, and they will pay the full price for it.
Yeah, you could see they weren't willing to give up that fight. Pino, on the other hand, Garbanzo is down.
Oh.
Merrick is down. It's all down to Newcastle. Is he going to find it? He's going to get the Newcastle reviving. He's trying to keep that shield away in front of him. Is he going to be able to get it all up and stay alive? And this one, the shots come out from the Mastiff. He gets a knock and he eliminates Nappy Militants. And now means he can get his teammate back up ready to try and fight another day as Peen somehow survive another really close engagement.
I mean, we saw an attempt at some 10-pin bowling there, but unfortunately the bowling ball went down the gutter and it was the end of Nappy Militants there. But now we see Zone 3 start to move in. Peen, they've won that fight, but because that fight, you'd think that they probably have a couple of teams who know of their positioning. And I don't know about you, but I wouldn't be making teams aware of your positioning when you've still got to make your rotation in.
Going to get themselves in a sticky situation inside this building here. The Gibby bubble from Chico has actually been pretty nicely placed there, so he can stay inside that bubble and it still peek all the doors, and all of a sudden he gets the shots off, and Tostamista knocks one. And Graffiti Killers will all fall loose. And Dan, I'm sorry, Lucas, that is just not your day there inside your building. You should not give away your position to the likes of Tostamista.
Well, meanwhile, Peen have just decided to zipline over, try and take this entire side of the zone for themselves. And they've been punished for it from every single angle. Maybe a couple of more teams here than they thought, but they will have this Newcastle to try and get the players picked back up. Unfortunately, it is just going to be hiding behind shields for a moment and falling to the ground after a couple more seconds. So they're taken down, and I guess the rest of the map gets to breathe for a little bit here.
Yeah, FTR's doing a fantastic job there, but Tostamista obviously still Chico here. Now this time the kill leader as things stand, they're looking to try and take team out of the sky. They're watching them rotating round, and look at that little flurry. It's like the RAF are showing off a wee little sky, a wee little flyby, and the chase, because it's on. Here we go. Tostamista, get into the side of the Gibby boat. Are they going to try and push that? Lou Hardy says, yes, I am. There's the Mastiff shots. All of a sudden, every single shot is in and out. KCL Koalas are eliminating Lou Hardy, showing them what he's got once again. I think that means that he is now their kill leader. No, it's still Chico. There we go. Chico's still doing the hard work at this point. Down to our top 6, though. Left
they
now.
They can't be stopped.
It's a difference maker, eh? Tostamista make it this far through. Look how big the Scorpico is still at this point in time, and we only have 6 squads left. Whereas last time we had 15 teams left at this point when Tostamista went out early. So although Peen and Tostamista went out last game round, they're both surviving in this one. And when they survive, there's very few teams left in such a bigger space.
A Gen Z Basilisk taking a fight over towards the northern side of the map. That's going to be against Zipline Destroyers, who are becoming the benefactors of this situation. Rez trying to be popped there by Gen Z Basilisk, but the Pathfinder going to be left to try and move away from the situation. Triple Take trying to pincer the Pathfinder, but it will be Lord Shady who's trying to get the final touch, trying to get the final kill. Is able to find it, but now just trying to get a bit of space to pop this Phoenix kit. The zone is being a bit of a punishing force here in the situation, and unfortunately Drails with the Arc Star gonna get that final pick.
Take as well from Drails. Sinku falls, Lord Shady falls to Drails as well, and Drails is continuing them shots as he's trying to make their way in. Can they finish it off? That's another cracked shield. Zipline Destroyers in the meantime and Gabon Gaming Team will both fall, and we're down to 3 squads left. And you know what? FDR have had a fantastic game of it in this one here. As I have Tostamista, but Yukon are the other team in the middle here, trying to get between the 2 squads, trying to find a better position if they can, because yeah, the zone is starting to pull, and it's going to start going towards the team of Tostamista, and trying to get ground on Tostamista is never easy.
Trying to get ground is never easy, but it can be taken by force when you've got something like a Kraber, and that's exactly what the Newcastle on Yukon is going to have in the back pocket, looking for these angles, looking to try and swing a situation in Yukon's way. This is essentially the catalyzer for the rest of game number 3 here. Are we going to see a shot? Are we going to see a connection? It's going to go a little bit wide. That's going to alert everyone to the fact that Yukon is going to have that Kraber in the back pocket, but 20 seconds remaining here before this zone is going to close once more. And both the Yukon and FDR are going to have to make a move somehow, some way. Are we going to see a little bit of a fight here? Because FDR, they're looking for those angles. You see Drails still trying to keep an eye on what's going on there, but his 5 seconds will tick down, and we're going to get to see what both of these teams are going to try and cook up here as Toaster Mister stand guard of the castle that they've held down for the entire game. Is everyone going to have to start moving towards them?
Yeah, exactly that. FDR are in that position where it's like, who are they going to take the fight to? Is Toaster Mister going to shoot at FDR, or are they going to shoot at Yukon? That'll be who gives the opportunity to get the best way in, and that wall keeps Romanov protected to get himself back and down, and then the Gibby bubble will come out to protect him a little bit longer, as Yukon are still now making that move in as well. The high ground from Toaster Mister, though, is going to be clutch here if they can do it, but having to keep an eye on two different angles here for two different teams at the moment can get you in the backside here as well, because if you take too long to look at one squad, all of a sudden the other squad sneaks up on the back. It's going to be a difficult scenario. Sorry, on you go.
Yukon in a little bit of trouble. The defensive bombardment going to be called in, but they're already being bombarded by bullets, grenades, everything. It's a little bit overwhelming here, and they're certainly feeling the pressure. FDR also having a look outside, but that plan has been instantly shut down by Toaster Mister, who decided to not let them take the angle, not let them venture outside and lock them away in the building for a little bit longer. On the other side, Yukon, they've managed to survive that Gibraltar ultimate and get themselves back up to a full 3, but they've expended a lot of utility to do so. They are going to have that castle wall still, but the lifeline ultimate and the defensive bombardment have both been expended here alongside the bubble as well. So 2 Kraber bullets left here from Yukon, and I wonder if that could be a bit of a difference maker, because as that utility is going to start to regenerate, they're going to start to get more of a say in how this zone ends.
Yeah, still here with all players on all 3 teams alive and kicking.
Oh!
I was about to say, as we say it, good wee shots though. Toaster Mister staying alive, FDR fighting it out, and Yukon are being that sneaky team around the outside here. They're the only one without red full shields here. They're currently running that purple shield, hoping they can just rat their way around the outsides here and stay alive as a zone, and hoping the FDR has a fight with Toaster Mister. Maybe that ends the game for them and Yukon finish the second spot, and that's all they're looking for at this point in time, or maybe even the chance to potentially take that third party once the fight enthralls. But nobody giving an edge, nobody peeking, nothing here as shoulders eventually come out. You can see the teams moving. Romanov's trying to chase out. Toaster Mister going to go straight after Yukon though, and they're looking down from above. Yukon now have been spotted, know exactly where they are. Toaster is rotating, so he's going to get eyes on both teams, and that's a very clever position if you are Toaster Mister, but you've gave away that height.
Yeah, they're trying to commit to too many things at once, and that's unfortunately resulted in the other team trying to now take the high ground off them. But Toaster Mister, they'll rise to the challenge. They know the other team cannot get up atop that wall, so there's not really any third party at risk here. FDR, they'll go in, but they will be eviscerated by Toaster Mister. Evac Tower also going down alongside a catalyst wall as the third party attempt going to come through here. But Toaster Mister, they've held down for the time, but it's not an evac tower, it's a respawn beacon. It's just like shooting fish in a barrel here. And Toaster Mister, they're the hunters.
In the water. Oh, there we go. One shot's off. Chico finds one. He's going to find a second. He's going to end things here. And Toaster Mister, the kill leader, finishing off with 10 kills himself. They will win the lobby once again. Toaster Mister didn't do very well in the round 2, map 2. But third map, back to winning ways. And it was like shooting fishes in a barrel, Hodge. You're correct in saying so. That was just easy pickings for the likes of Toaster Mister.
Yeah, I don't know who made that analogy. I'm going to be honest. Whoever made that analogy is a bit of a psycho, but regardless, it's correct nonetheless. It was quite an easy end game there for Toaster Mister once they managed to win that fight against that team of FDR. And well, what Toaster Mister once again doing it the Toaster Mister way in a lobby that favoured their playstyle a little bit more there, it has to be said, Mark. 23 eliminations and at first place going to net them 35 more points. That will be Toaster Mister locking in their spot in your grand finals, and I couldn't think of a more deserving team to do so.
Oh yeah, definitely not. I wouldn't expect them not to make it in 2 wins like that with high kill games, 23 and 21 kills aside. That's just crazy. It's just crazy to even think about. But that is the final round of Stormpoint. We've got 3 more matches left for teams around the border here at the top 10 to try and make their way in, to try and find a difference here. We're going to have to change the lobby up. We're going to have to change the drop points. We're going to be changing that POI draft. And in the meantime, I'm going to show you that leaderboard and how it looks here at this current moment in time. While we wait, you can see exactly where we're at. Toast Mr. now 69 points on the board. Second place with 37 is Nappy Militants. Then you got Zipline Destroyers with 31, Yukon with 30, 2 Girls, 1 Gibby with 27, all the way down to bottom at 10 here in the group. Top 10 obviously go through. So you're looking at 13 points so far for Old Men and Nocturne, but Peen just on the edge here with 12. Gabon Gaming Team with 11. Everybody is still in contention of this, no matter what, here to make that top 10 at least here to go into that match point finals.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's still in contention. We've still got 3 games left. Still a lot of chances for teams in this lobby to show their worth, and especially on a new map like World's Edge, where everyone's going to have those different job spots. We're going to get to see who maybe didn't get their priority pick on Stormpoint, maybe people and teams who chose their better POIs on World's Edge, maybe have a bit of a better showing here. And I mean, that is a factor on this map. That is a factor on World's Edge now that we have the draft system in place in our bracket stage. It is going to be more of a situation mark where we're going to have teams who perform better on certain maps just based on the POIs and their rotations and, you know, the priorities that they're able to get from their POIs and make things work. But that's going to be found out very, very shortly as we hop onto World's Edge. But as a little bit of a recap so far, we've seen Toaster Mister take over in game 1 and then 4 early in game number 2, where we saw 2 Girls, 1 Gibby do really well alongside Yukon, who've been having a bit of a consistent performance so far today. Then in game 3 that we just saw, we saw 2 Girls, 1 Gibby have an unfortunate fall out of the lobby in last place, and we saw Toaster Mister bounce back once more with Yukon showing their consistency once more. So the story of today is win a match and get last place, and then Yukon is going to continue to be consistent.
Beginning of that, finishing last place and getting a point of Peen. Will they be able to do it? Because they never finished last, but I mean, will they be able to win a game now here and potentially get their opportunity booked in there? Because
Toaster Mister fall out first.
Yeah, I mean, that will these things go upside down on its head again and give themselves another team to get opportunities? Because Nappy Milton's Old Men and Nocturne Peen just not firing the way that they have been in recent weeks and needing to find that little bit extra. Got the POI drafts on the screen there you can see as well. Hodge, you probably don't see it at the point in time just because of how we've all done it, but I could
That's all right.
I could share this. I should share this screen.
Yeah, go for it.
Because, you know, this is what we're like. We're trying to make sure that everything runs smoothly. We had issues, we've had issues, but I mean, these things happen, right? We just
these things happen.
figure it all out.
About how you bounce back from them.
Yeah, there we go. See if that's big enough for you to spot them. I don't know if it will be.
Am I looking at Discord here?
Oh yeah, sorry, Discord. Yeah.
Okay.
My bad. If you want to have a look at where people are dropping. So
Whereabouts am I looking? Oh yeah, there we go.
The PI drops, yeah.
Got it. Well,
can you see? Is that big enough to see for you?
It's manageable. I think some of the big highlights that we can see here and that we can tell from what we're seeing right now is that we are, of course, going to be having Peen take the spot of choice on World's Edge over towards Skyhook West, which has been the power position on this map for, I guess, the longest time at this point, since the Lava Siphon reign that we saw a couple of seasons ago, about a year ago now, and since then it really has been the Skyhook West story. So they're going to be taking that as their number 1 and first choice selection POI. On the other side of things, our second team to choose their POI, I believe, was All Men of Nocturne. So I'm having a look to see where they've landed, and if I'm not mistaken, I think they're over towards Climatizer. Is my eyesight reading that correctly?
Yep, number 21. Yep, Old Men of Nocturne were up at Climatizer. Yep. You were correct in saying so, and yeah, that's exactly where they are, looking to try and see what they can do from there. They're going to have a Gen 11 Orbital nearby at the epicenter, but apart from that, it's quite a good wee bit of distance, a wee bit of time from everything else as well to try and make yourself a way, depending on where these obviously zone pools. But that being said, while you're looking at that, while we're getting into that, we're going to get pretty much ready and started. I've got that server started. We've got that game ready to go. We're going to be heading into World's Edge. This is going to be match number 4 of 6 for this evening to determine who our top 10 will be and who it will be moving in to that match point finals here. It is all to play for. Every single team has that opportunity still.
Every single team does. That's about this format. That's the great thing, about everything here at the Summit is that we love giving teams chances. Even if you're not going to qualify today, then congratulations. Come back next week and play again. Have another crack at the at the 6-game series and see if you can get top 10 that time. Unfortunately, if you don't get top 10 that time, then you will be eliminated. But it's nice to give teams who perform well throughout the regular season that sort of second chance to make their mark in the lobby. Maybe they have a bit of an off week. It's fine. They get the opportunity to bounce back and see if they can get themselves into this finals lobby, because right now we're going to be hopping into the map, into World's Edge, and we're going to get to see some of our teams perform and, get to see where they're going to be dropping. Oh
yeah, certainly will be. I think I don't know, like World's Edge is a little bit of a bigger map, is it, in the grand scheme of things, would you say? Or do you think that Stormpoint's a bigger map?
Stormpoint is statistically a bigger map overall.
Yeah, so this one you tend to get fights a lot quicker then, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
It's a map where
it looks small on the images, but it doesn't look small when you're playing it for some reason. It feels like it's bigger than it is, but...
I think you often get a lot more zone play on World's Edge when you look at the grand scheme of things, because teams have played it for so long now that they know that it's a bit more risky to take these fights, because a lot of teams, well, when you have a look at how many POIs there are across the map, there's always the threat of a third party. Pretty much wherever you go, wherever you rotate, wherever you go, you take a fight, there's a very high chance that you're going to get third partied, especially in the early to mid game where everyone's going to be making their rotations towards the zone. The only couple of POIs that I think have an exception to that is over towards Climatizer and Epicenter, where you often see a bit of a fight between those two teams stall out a little bit if they decide to take it, but on this occasion it looks like they might not. On the other side of things, however, Old Men of Noctum, Charge might be caught out a little bit there and might be having to run away because Genzi Orbital might have, found him a little bit of a picking here if they can chase this down, and that'll be good for them for doing so, but I guess Charge might have overextended a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know what he was thinking. Maybe he thought, I'm going to get something here for free, but he does knock down Tunics, and maybe the purple shield knockdown, though. He's going to try and go for that first here, but he will fall at the same time, and now they're going to be the ones that actually win out with this one. Gen Z, or Gen X, sorry, should I say, are actually in a better position, and none of their teammates of Charge are going to do that, but maybe they're just trying to build some shields early on.
I mean, I think in reality, the situation is fine for them. They've just been able to craft the banner and get him back in over at the POI regardless. So I think they were just trying to secure a KP, and the intention was for Charge to go down and get res there regardless. But just seeing if they can get that KP on the board, and unfortunately not able to. But situation going to restored nonetheless, and we're going to get this zone. To be honest, if I'd look at this zone without that information, as we do still see the fight come through over towards Fragment, I would personally think we're going over towards Geyser here, but we are going to be heading over to Fragment, and the same can be said likewise for this fight. Blood Wolves, 2 members down, 1 member left, and Nappy Militants trying to chase this down and clean things up, but there is a third party coming in from Harvester, so they've got to finish this quickly, or this could be very well disrupted quite quickly.
Yeah, Nappy Militants getting that final shots off their minimums will get the kill, and Blood Wolves will be eliminated. But they are the third party. It was the Zipline Destroyers that were nearby them, but no, it wasn't. It was it was Zipline Destroyers that are nearby them next time. But nobody, they've dipped out to the corner. They've gone into the into the tunnel, gonna dip away for a second. You've got other teams though outside each other. Yukon inside the tunnels underneath. They're gonna try and they're gonna avoid everybody at the moment in time because everybody else is up above them, which is fine. But yeah, so far so good. Where 17 squads still alive. Gen 11 Orbital do fall though, and who was that? Knocked him. They must have went up towards Noctum and then just got taken out.
I was watching the fight. It was Gen Z. What was it? Gen Z Orbital.
Yeah, Gen X Orbital. Yeah.
Gen 11. I'm not sure how it's said. I've been saying Gen Z the entire time, but if it's Gen 11,
I've been saying Gen Z as well. But in my head, I'm like, it's not even a Z, but it's Gen Z. Yeah, it is. Maybe I say Gen 11, Gen Z, Gen X. I mean, I've changed it every single week.
Yeah, they took the fight over to Old Men of Nocturne, though, over towards Climatizer, possibly thinking it was still a duo, or maybe, you know, the Res had come through and they got a bit hungry. But Old Men of Nocturne, they made short work of them, caught them off guard, and got 3 free KP. Yes, I'm trying to get all those words out of my mouth there. But regardless, we're now
as
going
a
to
Scotsman, it would never work for me. Then I'd be like free PP. Like, what's going on? What is
But
going
Toast
on?
Mister in a fight now, over towards staging. They've had to use both of their defensive utilities to stabilize for the time being, as they're being pressured from what seems like every angle. Shiko will go in, but will fall. So are we seeing a repeat here? Toaster Mister, they're finding a res on either side. It's res for res, trade for trade, and the shots will come through. FDR are going to go down, but here comes the third party. Here comes Yukon. We've seen how consistent they've been, but this is where you've got to take down a team who has really stood up and stood beyond all expectations so far. But it looks like they recognise they're a bit late to the party. The defence has already been put out, and maybe they just want to get away for the time being.
Some great shots there coming out though for Seifer, but he's not going to be able to do enough about it, because eventually he peaks that for too long. The shots come out. He's going to have to dip out with that Newcastle shield wall so he can pop that shield back. And now the Toast and Mrs. Squad are like, well, you taking shots at me, I'm going to come after you. Here we go. But yeah, they're going to dip out and not going to take that fight. Make sure they get themselves reserved up, get their weapons ready. And in that meantime, we're going to go north of the map here. You've got Old Men of Nocturne in a gunfight here. Couple players, a couple of teams actually around them at the moment in time. Old Men of Nocturne and Peen. And then you've got one spicy chicken that's disappearing away to the distance. And as you can see him up there going through the tunnel, trying to find a way out here. Getting pinged from a distance from that Hemlock, but Nocturne aren't going to find the knock on that one. But they do have 2 kills to their name so far, Nocturne. So this is a wee bit better. They've got 4 kills in total. 2 from York and 2 from Sentinel. As things stand, obviously it was Charge that kind of pushed up earlier on and got himself killed. But they did get the respawn in. They did manage to get the team that pushed on up onto them. And now they're going to be coming into a team. President Garbanzo, Peen, the nade just got smacked on top of Merc. But he was already popping, and that heals and abilities to get back up straight away prior to that nade even coming in. So it kind of came in, put him to like 1 HP, and then he survived it. But Newcastle's going to be able to get shot from a distance in the background here as well. He's going to go chasing down Nocturne Sentinel. He'll find that kill. He gets the knock, gets a kill. Now it looks like Peen are in a better position here than Nocturne for this gunfight.
Yeah, well, Nocturne, one player down, Sentinel has fallen, and Charge Rifle and York gonna now have to see what they can do to either recover the banner here or just try and play things out as a 2. They have been able to craft that banner, and now will probably just look to make their exit. And I have to say, a lovely response there from Peen after we saw them on a little bit of an unfortunate end of the receiving after that Skynade come through, but they were able to get healed up and really isolate the challenges that were coming through from all these different angles by the Old Men of Nocturne and really take charge of the situation they were in. But now, Peen, they're going to move down towards, that zone and going to look to get themselves a solidified position. On the other side of things, when we look towards the west of the map, we're going to see 2 teams meeting. That is going to be KCL Koalas and the Red Lotus over towards that spire out of the zone. And the Red Lotus has walked up and found the position only as a duo, though, so we'll have to see how this unfolds. Maybe the Red Lotus just want to back away, or maybe they want to take the fight. It looks like they want to take this fight as the Catalyst Wall is expended. And I like this presence that's being shown here. They're not scared to take this fight, and they want this KP regardless.
Definitely a lot of teams still on that verge and that edge. They need to kind of get some points on the board, whether that's through kill points, whether through that's placement points. And obviously placement points at the moment are very hard to come by for some teams, and they've been really difficult because Toast and Mister have been on their toes for the majority of these maps, bar map number 2, where it has been pretty much everybody's game till the very end, and it was just anybody could be in that final edge. But Newcastle, in the meantime, he's going to get some shots off here, and he's going to get that knock on Page, gets the headshot kill. But this fight could be going on longer than we expect, as Peener looking to get himself involved as well. And all of a sudden we've got 3 teams here fighting it in once again on the edge of the fight, and they've got Nocturne, got a full squad backup again, and they're coming back in here as well. We're going to have 4 players fighting out on the edge of the zone here. 4 big teams that could potentially lose out here because they decided
Oh.
to take these fights. Oh, Maggie's ball comes rolling on in, but doesn't matter for Charge. He jumps on with that Mastiff and he'll take Merc down. Going to
Well,
go for that
Peen just
KP
learnt a hard
though.
lesson. Yeah. Peen just learned a hard lesson on why you should always have someone watching your back, and it is going to cost them. Peen going to look to see what they can do to recover the situation, but I think for the majority of this game, we've seen the situations recovered. The solution is usually just go and find a crafter, and that's what they're going to be looking to do once more. On the other side of things, we're going to be moving over towards the east of the map and swapping sides, swapping hemispheres, I guess we can always say here, as Toaster Mister are looking to take a fight, surprise, surprise, and it is them getting involved with the Mozambiques, with the Nemesis. It doesn't even matter that there's someone rezzing directly in front of Lou Hardy here, because there was someone on the zipline as well. He's just focusing everyone, and it's working.
Yeah, Larry just doesn't stop, does he? He's like, I don't care what's happening in front of me. I'm going to go straight for him. Go straight for these shots. Stay for these kills. Currently 3 kills to his name at the moment in time. The team are doing pretty well in terms of kill points. They're still trying to chase out some of these players that are trying to get into the buildings and get into protection here as they can. But Lou Hardy decides to stop that chase for now, as they are getting pings everywhere around the map to make sure that they know where teams are rotating, where they're setting up their positions, where they could decide to take the next fight, or even where they're going to go on their next rotation into the circle. Meanwhile, you've got the team of 2 Girls 1 Gibby trying to gatekeep the Noctum boys outside, but trying to see if they can get a perfect peek here with that G7 Scout here, maybe even a couple of good shots here. But will there be any fight coming from that? Or 2 Girls 1 Gibby got their eyes all over the place at the moment in this area, just on the edge of the epicenter.
Well, Toaster Mister as well have located a fight, surprise, surprise once again, and here comes them diving in with the Newcastle Shield to try and isolate these angles. It's Yukon who find themselves underneath in the ditch. They tried to take a fight against Toaster Mister earlier on in the game, if you remember, but they were unsuccessful in that. Now they look to be successful as the bubble is forced out, but what's forced that out? Could it be a third party? It potentially will be, but we're not going to know for the time being. Toaster Mister looking to take the fight. 1 has gone down, 2 have gone down, and all 3 of Yukon are going to fall. But here comes Peen to clean things up, wipe out Toaster Mister, and you have to worry there. If you're Yukon, something has to have forced that bubble out of Toaster Mister in the first place. And it obviously was that third party that did come through. So both teams are going to fall. Peen get the better of both of them. And these, I have to say, are the circles that I absolutely live for, Mark.
The ones inside, all these building opportunities, all these sneaky peek spots, all these height differences as well. It's going to be a crazy finish as Tex is getting absolutely beamed here. Amani is already down from that team. It's Old Men and knocked him on that chase for more KP here as they're trying to get these first in. 1 player left. Are they going to find them? Yes, they will. The Red Lotus are eliminated. York will find a kill on Tex. No, Sentinel gets Dingo, a Berry, a Sniffer, the name in a half, but all of a sudden Liverpool are getting that third party fight, trying to get involved. Darkseid will fall. Teammate Fencing pops that Newcastle wall out, gets the revive and gets his teammate out of harm's way for now, inside the building, back to their safety and security. But Old Men have knocked them are all set and ready as well for this. They're going to get themselves stocked up. They've got this building inside here as well, and now you're going to have to look down towards Graffiti Gorillas. They're taking a few shots through their buildings, and so far everybody's going to be set up in a building scenario now. They're all going to be peeking, waiting, looking for their opportunities, looking for these best placements where these rings are going to move off to. And in the meantime,
There's no way it happens again, right?
No way. What's
Look
that?
at who's in Godspot.
Oh god, 2 Girls, 1 Gibby in Godspot up at epicenter area where the ring is going to pull to.
I'm a Kraber now.
Oh no. There you go. I've finally
There we
seen
go.
where the ring is
Someone had
going.
to break the script.
We
We need a new winner. Well, it's not going to be Toaster Mister this time. Will it be 2 Girls, 1 Gibby? They have the high ground for now. They are going to have that Kraber. And to be honest, I think you've got to stay on this height for as long as you possibly can. The zone that has been presented is quite open, but Liverpool certainly might find themselves in open ground if that building is breached. Because
they did get
Old Man
one
and
knock
Noctum-
though on York, thankfully, and that slowed them down a little bit, or they were going to push right on in there, but Noctum Sentinel had to get out that revive. They've got full shields pretty much for everybody other than Sentinel, and he needs to get some more damage here just to find that extra extra little bit of Evo to get full red shields, but the Liverpool side, he's going to get the opportunity in the back now. He's going to get the Eva 8 shots off. He's going to start dealing some good damage there. His teammate is going to have to try and support him as he's constantly trying to find the kills. Liverpool's are eliminated. That's full shields for Noctum, and there's a third party involvement here. KCL Koalas are trying to get involved in this fight, but are they going to survive this fight? Because Noctum are slowly but surely making them pay for that kind of push, and Paige is the last man alive. Or should we say last lady alive? I don't know. But Newcastle Wall manages to save Pluto for now. Graffiti Guerrillas in the meantime do fall. Old Men of Noctum had lost all their members here as well, other than Charge. So yeah, it was a very close final fight there for the both of them.
Well, Charge gonna have to do it all by himself now. Recently signed to Noctum as a player, and now got to show why he is so good at the video game. Got to now try and do it by himself, do it solo, and doesn't find himself in zone, so got a lot of work to do on the rotation. On the other side of things, Dogs of Hell taking a fight against Outlaws inside one of the buildings here. Outlaws on that high ground as a duo, surviving for the whole game and getting this position by themselves, but Dogs of Hell going to look to try and take it from them on that low ground. They're going to look to push up, but here comes the Pathfinder, overstaying his welcome, trying to get back up, and the window stick coming through as well. KCL Koalas want a piece of this, and they will take it by force.
Yep, and there we go. 2 members of Dogs of Hell are down. Huxify is the last one alive as the Pathfinder tries to escape. Does do so for now. You've also got... Oh, there we go. You know, I was going to say the first of it done, but KCL Koalas are still in this mega fight here inside the giveaway bubble. Gets the shots off with a massive Pluto. Thankful they stayed alive and managed to keep him up in this game as Outlaws are eliminated. And there we go. Dogs of Hell Huxify survived it for another... a little bit longer at least. Meanwhile, Anti, in this big gunfight, they've only got Xeno left alive. The Mastiff's not going to work out for them. Omen and Noctum are down. Anti are down. We're down to our top 5, and there's plenty of people looking to stay into this circle, but it's not going to 2 Girls 1 Gibby at this point in time. They're not in that position, but they've got a full squad along with President Garbanzo's squad here as well, and they've got the Kraber in hand. Like we said, is Misa going to be able to find some great shots to get themselves in these big fights, to find these extra KPs as the Kraber shot does come off, and President Garbanzo is down and out here. Are they going to charge down on that, or are they going to let this play out here? That's the question. Is it going to be a waste of a Kraber shot now that they've escaped it? He decides, now we're going down. We're chasing this. We're going for it. We're going for this KP.
I love this position. I love this position so much. It's how can you stabilize? I think regardless, essentially the team next to you, not Dogs of Hell, but that team of Peen, who are now deciding to go for a little bit of a wrap here and finding themselves on the receiving end of a couple of bullets, are going to be forced into a difficult situation either way. Meanwhile, 2 Girls 1 Gibby controlling some space, managing to find themselves a little bit of hope here in this little fissure that they've managed to find. But now here comes the zipline straight into the face of a Kraber. That's never a good idea. And 2 Girls 1 Gibby will punish the opportunity when presented. Don't get too overzealous. What's the word? Overzealous. Yeah, that's a good word there. To try and finish off these KP, because you've still got a lot of things happening around you, and you can't give up your positioning.
Certainly not. Peen, no, in the meantime, do fall. Seems he bled out. I assume that was to do with the maybe getting themselves in and out of the circle, but 2 Girls 1 Gibby in a sticky situation between a rock and physically a hard place here at this point in time is Piku, which has to get down there to try and pick up his teammate here. The revive comes in. The knockdown shield is knocked out though, but now the fact that there's no gold knockdown shield is very difficult here for these players to keep their knockdown shield alive, and without getting purple shields and not finding that opportunity, they're still stuck on grey with their knockdown and have to try and get away as quickly as possible, but they survive it for now. KCL Koalas are in the top 3 this time round, and the only other team to deal with them is Nappy Militants, I'm sure, is the other team, and 2 Girls 1 Gibby.
2 Girls 1 Gibby find themselves in another endgame like we saw in game 2, but will they have the same success story, or will we get a new winner? KCL Koalas looking to try and take down that castle wall, but that thing's got a lot of health, and you've got a lot, use a lot of bullets to break it. On the other side, Nappy Militants playing this low ground for the time being, trying to spread themselves out and gain some space here, and it will be the Maggie drill to try and deny some space from the opponents, and that's going to be KCL Koalas who've got to make the play. But now the fight's come through. Spicy Chicken has maybe just found himself seasoned a little bit too much there, and unfortunately will get chunked. On the other side, Nappy Militants, they're going to have to grapple over and look for another angle, because guess who's sat Kings of the Castle right now? It's 2 girls, 1 Gibby, and they're going to continue to just survive, I think, for now. That's all they really want to do in their situation.
Yeah, just kind of getting these shots on the edge, hiding behind that vehicle as much as they possibly can to get a good position. But it's yeah, it's going to be difficult. Newcastle wall after Newcastle wall in the middle of the street. You can see all 40-player teams just sitting there waiting patiently as the zone is going to start making its way towards both these Newcastle walls, and the team that's going to have to make their move is Spicy Chickens. Nappy Militants are going to be able to hold the KCL Koalas out here for a little bit longer, but the Gibby bubble comes out at the perfect time here just to avoid and stay alive for a little bit longer here, as they've got that opportunity to try and get round the corner. You've got 2 girls, 1 Gibby above them. They've got that wall protecting the view in the sight lines here at the moment. But all of a sudden, Spicy Chicken takes a ton of damage there. He's literally going to be a couple of shots from death here, and that might be the first to fall, but Pluto falls. In the meantime, KCL Koalas fall. Now, it's a 1 versus 1 scenario in teams-wise. Can 2 girls, 1 Gibby find a win? The double massive shot pays off. The third one doesn't miss, and eventually Nappy Militants come out on top though. 2 girls, 1 Gibby. If he just hit that final shot with the Mastiff, that was going to be their second win of the evening, but Nappy Militants decide, no you're not, we're going to answer that back. We made him whiff the shot, and all of a sudden Minimums, Alex and Zekta will be your winners. We're going to see a 3rd team win so far out of our 4 maps played. 5 maps played, sorry. No, 4
and
maps,
a couple more teams putting themselves over that verge to claim their spot in the grand finals. 3 teams so far have done just that, and it is 2 girls, 1 Gibby, it is Tosta Mister, and it is of course Nappy Militants. But we've still got a couple more spots. We've still got 7 more spots who I guess need to be locked in. And remember, nothing is locked in until the final scores, but this is essentially just, I guess, sort of our predictions at this point of who is going to be tallying up enough points. I think 40 should be good enough, right? After 6 games. Usually the cut-off for a 6-game series is between 30 and 40. So I think 40 should be, around about the point that we're going to be looking to lock teams in here. But yeah, Nappy Militants.
I think we might actually be as close as 30, to be fair. It might be the way that if you get 30 points, you're definitely guaranteed. It might even be less than that, to be honest. The way that these games have gone.
The current board is 20, so two more left, and we were probably going to be at about 30. So
yeah, say about 30 potentially for the top 10. But that was
to be safe, 40 for now.
40 is a well and truly safe bet for sure.
Yeah,
very, very, very true. But just like we says, if Tosa Mista and 2 girls, 1 Gibby, Nappy Militants all going strong like they have been doing in these matches, yeah, you definitely within the 30-point mark, she'll be able to be all right, because Nappy Militants finding 16 kills in that lobby. Tosa Mista normally finding around about 20 kills in their good games that they've been performing. This time it was only 9. Still a high KP considering the rest of the teams around them are struggling to find some of these KPs. Even some of the stronger teams are finding it difficult to get kills on the board here. And like Old Men and Noctum got 11 there and that, and they finished in 7th. So I mean, they were going for that points in the grand scheme of things here as well. But speaking of that, we'll go to transition over to that leaderboard. So we can see the leaderboard as the 4 maps are done so far for the winners bracket. It shows you their top 10 here. KCL Koalas with that win, well, that 3rd place spot and the 6 kills, push them up into 10th spot here as well. So they're on that verge of making it through to the match point finals, which is the way they started off the game. I don't think they were expecting to be in this position, but KCL Koalas had a really strong game there.
They did, and we're going to get to see all of our teams throughout the remaining 2 games to see, give us performances to see if they are worthy of their spot in the top 10, or maybe they're going to have to go through a bit of a lower bracket journey to get to that point. But we are going to hop into game at number 5 and see who's going to step up next. For the time being, though, I do want to just confirm this, but I believe that the placements from this lobby are going to correlate to who gets the first picks for POIs in the grand finals, right?
That will definitely be like that case. I'm sure it's like a snake method that we discussed, but yeah, it is definitely doing it the same way as top top 10 obviously get there in order with the position of where you finish, which you obviously Toast Mist at the moment in time got the better position, better chance for this one, but anything could happen. Nappy Militants are coming up. They're very close in terms of scores and points on this lobby here. Two Girls going to be maybe just a wee bit too far behind from this one, but you just never know. If Toast Mist to go out early again, and Two Girls won't give me find a win, a good high kill game again, it could be back up there. But you just see the difference in terms of like first to third place they got in terms of kills. 54 against 19. Like that's almost like almost 3 times the amount.
Yeah, I mean, that's crazy. It's interesting to see the losers bracket as well and how that's shaping up, because unfortunately we have to eliminate 2 teams from that. It's going to suck to be one of those 2 teams, but someone's going to have to go. But it's nice to see the sort of comparison between the 2 lobbies and get to see who's going to make it one step further through the tournament and find themselves in that lower bracket round 2. For the time being, though, we're going to be heading into Game 5 and we're going to get to see who is going to be, giving us their best showing in the penultimate match of the winners bracket here. Because, well, right now, you really pretty much have to. It's either put up or shut up here in this situation. And we're going to get the zone on our screen, the first zone. We are going to be heading up towards the north side of the zone once again. It's sort of mirroring what we saw last game a little bit, but I think this could be a bit more of a northeastern zone. We'll get the confirmation on that when the zone is going to pop. But, I mean, right now, it's interesting to see. We talk about match point format, Mark, and how we're going to get to that in the finals, obviously. So far, if this series was match point, we would have no one winning just yet. We would have 2 teams on match point, but no one had won yet. That would obviously be the teams of Nappy Militant and Toaster Mister. But, it's going to be interesting to see how teams in the finals opt to change their playstyle when they hit match point, because we have seen a bit of a playstyle change coming through from one of those teams. Less so because of match point, because that's obviously not in session right now. More so, I'm not sure, and I'd love to know why they're doing it. Maybe they're just having a bit of fun because they know they've qualified. But Toaster Mister are going to be running Octane, Newcastle, and Seer.
Interesting difference. Changing it up a little bit here. I mean, they know where their position is. Maybe they're just trying an error. Maybe playing a bit of fun.
I wouldn't do that at this point. Let's be honest.
I mean, after winning 2, at least you're in that very strong position, very very far to catch. The only team that really is very close by is Nappy Militants, and they've been performing pretty well so far as well. So yeah, they can close in on them, but whether they do or not is a different story. I'm sure this match will kind of cement themselves. Maybe if they have a really good one, it could be pretty much it. But meanwhile, Huxify will find the first knock. And where is Huxify?
Countdown.
Yeah, we're gonna head towards Countdown if I can quickly maneuver myself.
It's Dogs of Hell taking down the first member of Yukon at their over towards Countdown, and it's it should be a pretty craftable and better game to get back into here for Yukon. They should be able to find a crafter and get themselves back. But right now, I don't know if I agree with this, because Dogs of Hell are chasing Yukon into the POI, and while that is, it could work out, I think you've also got to be very careful because of how many POIs are in such a close quarter in this top left section of the map. There is so many teams who can third party you, so I don't think, you should be basing your playstyle and your game off of 2KP.
Yeah, no, definitely not. That's a very risky thing to be doing. And you know how it has been with people chasing kills. Sometimes it gets themselves stuck in a rock and a hard place, and all of a sudden they're getting traded out because another team is watching them doing that rotation, and before you know it, you actually lose out on killing anybody, and you actually get knocked out yourself. Meanwhile, speaking about knocking out, Nappy Militants, who we say is a very close contention, have been knocked out, and that has been by Accuracy Millimans, and so have been managing to find that one. Meanwhile, Yukon do eventually get caught out here. Red Lotus now, they've run right into them pretty much, giving them the opportunity to get some kills on the board here. Dingleberry finding that one, trying to get away his life though, because he is a minuscule bit of health here. Tex, whose teammate is nearby, but Dogs of Hell are now in between 3 different teams here. They get some good shots off though, and that's Paradox finding the knock on Dingleberry. We said he was very, very weak at that point in time. It's only Tex left available from his team as the lifeline. Can Can they do something about this one, or are they just going to dip out and get them later on? Because I think that fight was going to be a difficult one for them.
I think that might be the better play. And to be honest, the Red Lotus, I think in that situation, the one thing I think I would be wondering is why has there suddenly been 6 people jump us at our own POI 1 minute into the match? And I think that's just what happens when some teams get a little bit kill hungry. You start to see those chaotic situations unfold, and we're seeing another one happen as well as Gabon Gaming Team are going to be eliminated again, and that is unfortunately going to be by Tosta Mister, I believe, over towards the Mirage Voyage. On the other side of things, we're seeing a fight break out up towards Survey Camp, where we're seeing KCL Koalas face off against the Old Men of Nocturne and Peen. So a little bit of a three-way dance here between some of our top teams in the lobby, and well, unfortunately, I think this is an attempt for a couple of these teams to read where the zone may be going, but unfortunately for them, none of them are correct.
No, they are not correct whatsoever. Speaking about where it's going to go, is going towards that overlook pool, and that's exactly where 2 Gibbies, 2 Gyros and 1 Gibby. Sorry, it is just 2 Gyros. It's not their Gibby. It's a different Gibby. But there's not even a Gibby because they don't even have a Gibby in their lobby this time around. Swapping things around, changing things around, but they're in that position. They're already at zone area, looking for that early. They're up against Zipline Destroyers here at the moment in time against Sinku, Lord Shady, and Frada J, and they're trying to deal what they can as they send out some great shots, and they go pushing in with a Gibby bubble at hand. Zipline Destroyers are getting bombarded, trying to stay underneath that bubble for as long as possible, and trying to figure out if the team did get in behind that cat wall.
Well, that fight between Dogs of Hell and Yukon is still going on for the time being, but Tosta Mister are now arriving to the third party, and they do it by aerial assault. The jump pad comes through, and in they come. Sea Ultimate going to be popped down. The Exhibit going to be able to give them some more hacks to let them know where the other team is, but the Pathfinder's just sending it straight in. Dogs of Hell, they're not scared to take this fight, but might now have to back up a little bit.
Oh my, this is actually witnessing some unbelievable movement here from Chico as they're trying to get some extra kills here. Look at that, jumping on the launch pad. We'll find that kill on Hot Dogs of Hell, and Chico takes some head off, but Lud Hardy and his teammate will fall, and it's just Chico alive here for the Tosta Mister crew, as Peen. We're trying to make sure that they can get them out of their area.
From the Red Lotus as well. They want their revenge.
Them on in. Oh god, it is starting to get crazy.
I wonder if they know. I wonder if Peen know. The Red Lotus potentially a bit angry about the invasion that was taken to them over at Lava Fisher, and looking to maybe peek out and potentially look for a 3-2-1 here to open things out. They've got to be very careful with how they take this fight, if they are to take it at all, because of the shields of the other team, but Peen are just going to go flying past and maybe haven't quite noticed, actually. So I think they're just looking to isolate a player, and they managed to isolate the Bangalore, but they've got to deal with this quickly because the teammates are going to turn around and look to snipe you out. Texas now on the receiving end of a lot of damage, and the Catalyst is also going to have to be careful because Dingleberry Sniffer has been isolated there a little bit, but the Red Lotus are able to back away. They're able to take siege in this tunnel for the time being, and now I'm just wondering, are they going to get out?
There we go. The answer is no. We'll take one of them down. Dingleberry Sniffer will be knocked out. Texas gets knocked as well. But I literally don't know where to look here. There's so many things happening on the map, and they've got a full 3 squad back again for Tosta Mister, and they're going straight back towards the area of Peen. They know they're there, and they've got a full team to fight back at it this now. Great shots with the Nemesis. Now, going to figure out exactly where they are through the smoke.
Oh my word. Those Nemesis shots. Putting in the work here from Tosta Mister, but how are they going to take this fight? How are they going to approach it?
Taking their time, waiting for that lifeline ultimate here to kind of probably die down here as they get some great shots off here. Nemesis is going off, but one player each has fallen. Nightcastle, Merrick is getting absolutely railed here. He starts chasing on in, but from a distance, that Massive doesn't pull out. President Garbanzo is the last one alive. He's being chased down, and look at Charge on the prowl. Will find Peen, will knock out Peen once again as The old men of Noctum come flying in to support it now. Where was it? Where's
well, there we
Toaster
go.
Mister? Did they all
Dead.
disappear as well? I didn't even
Yeah,
see them die at that point.
they got killed by Old Men of Noctum as you literally said
Oh,
that. So
my
the fight, we
goodness.
have the result finally after about 10 minutes between Peen and Toaster Mister and everyone else. I guess it all ended in the Old Men of Noctum coming in and third partying everyone. So that's Apex Legends for you. Anyway, we're going to be moving over towards the zone now, where we're going to get to see the sensible teams. Sorry, I shouldn't be saying that, but the teams who have opted to play for a bit of a more safer play style, a more consistent play style, and they all find themselves in the zone, chilling, loving life, and well, in the case of Gen Z Orbital, you have a Kraber.
Yeah, they definitely do, but the Two Girls One Gibby, they're going to get that mythic bin here. Or did they already get it? They're waiting on it. They're waiting. That will be coming out very, very soon, I'm sure. But they're in a good spot once again here. Always reading the zone, always being at the right time. The Old Men of Noctum are just getting into the edge of the zone, but Outlaws are going to be watching them just pinging on in from the edge of the zone here. We're going to jump on board with that because as well as the Old Men of Noctum flying on in, you do have that one team that is probably going to die outside, and that's the Red Lotus. Are they going to be able to get out of this ring here at this point in time? They're so far away. They're just going to have to get as many heals as possible to try and get in. I very much doubt they'll make it, but we'll wait and see.
We'll get to see if they're going to be able to do just that. Gen Z Orbital, in the meantime, holding down a building in Fragment. They are going to have that Kraber to work with, and the team is now looking to get a little bit close and personal, and I know how Gen Z Orbital love to take these aggressive fights when they are presented to them. They play a bit more of a defensive playstyle, but when someone starts to mess with them, well, they're going to feel the full force of Gen Z Orbital. Tunix has that Kraber in hand and looking for that angle, but it doesn't look like anyone wants to show any body parts on any of the other teams. So now, hang on a second, what did I just witness? That Kraber shot is absolutely incredible from Tunix through the window. Fencing goes down and in comes the push.
Yeah, I thought that was accuracy. I seen him shooting at the player and all of a sudden he just got down. I just assumed that was him continuing the shots because I was on board with accuracy. He does find the second player. Liverports are eliminated and now they are chasing even more outside the zone here as Gen X Orbital find a couple of kills. They are the kill leaders here as well. He's got 5 kills himself, accuracy. Fantastic job for himself at this moment in time.
You're going to have to talk for a second because I need to go back and watch that clip. I'm sorry, I just need to see... what did I just watch there?
What did you just witness? A nicey little snipey is what you witnessed. Meanwhile, the Red Lotus did make it through the zone, but they do have the Omen of Noctum waiting for them right at this moment in time. Are they going to get that zipline? The lifeline has to pull out the ability to heal because they are getting weakened here as the Omen of Noctum have got the Newcastle shield wall out. They're now looking to find these extra picks, these extra KP shots. The shots coming from the Nemesis will knock down Humanity. Now, that wall coming out here to protect them. Lifeline gets their ultimate out as well, and that's going to be the revive. Sentinel's going to have to dip out of that and stay alive because he didn't want to lose out on that one as well. In the meantime, Spicy Chicken finding a couple of kills here and knocks out Anti. During that whole thing, Outlaws also fall eliminated here. We're into the top 8 so far. Still got plenty of map space left in this one. And Old Men of Noctum are still trying to find their opportunities on the Red Lotus here at the moment in time. Knowing that Red Lotus are only on a blue shield at the moment. Dealing tons of damage, but they've only got 1 rock to hide behind at this moment in time. Don't have any defensive capabilities, and Mane will fall once again, and now it's down to Tex and Dingleberry to find an option to get away with their lives as they're being shot in the back as Noctum go for the hunt. Charge is looking for the kills. Charge will find 1. Freda will get the knockdown as well, and now all of a sudden Omen and Noctum in a position here to find Tex, and that'll be the last one in the team. Sibling Destroyer is going to get involved in themselves as well, though. They're getting right next to the Omen of Noctum, trying to find that third party opportunity here. But they at least Noctum are aware of it and they have spotted the team. They're not going to get shocked by what happens next as they look to try and set themselves back up here in this one. 2 Girls, 1 Gibby, not in the zone now, but in the zone you do have Tunix, the Gen X Orbital side. KCO Koalas will forward into the top 7. It is counting down. We're getting closer and closer here to find out who's going to win this map 5. It could be a different team, or it could be 2 Girls and 1 Gibby. Another win on the board will set them up nicely here for definitely getting that guaranteed finishing spot for that match point finals, and even a very good positioning on the leaderboard.
They already essentially have both of those things, but you know, when it comes to, like we talk about the finals, you want to play for that positioning in the draft. You want to play to see, you know, get the best POI that you possibly can. But all these teams are now going to start to swarm around this diner building. Yukon are going to be holding down inside of it. We see how their positioning has paid off for them so many times so far today, and they've now found themselves in such a prime position right now. But that position's going to become quite focused a lot very, very soon, and the old men of Noctum are going to want to take siege of that later on, but for the time being, they're moving over to try and clear what is going to be their backs, and that starts with 2 Girls, 1 Gibby. Piku Alu is going to go down, and Misa and Lupilia have to try and hold on. 2 Girls, 1 Gibby getting pressured here as old men of Noctum try to walk up.
Yeah, they got the revive done. Newcastle doing their jobs, getting themselves back up here to a full accompaniment here as they can continually take some damage here from Noctum. But it means they have to make their way out of here at some point. Whether they make it out before the ring is another question, because they're not going to hold out for that long in a position against Peen, knowing fine well, or sorry, against 2 Girls, 1 Gibby, knowing fine well that they've already got a win to their belt in this matchup. They're doing fantastic enough, and Noctum need to try and get these extra points. So they're looking for KP, they're looking for kills on the board, and as much as possible, as many points as the board as well. So a finishing point will be much better than just trying to take that fight to 2 Girls, 1 Gibby, because you might be finishing in that top 2, top 3 position if you hold off on that fight for a little bit longer.
Am I silly, or why is Valkyrie now a recon character? I suppose she's a skirmisher. Am I just silly? I'm not sure, but we are seeing Gen Z Orbital continue to hold down the building next to Diner, and everyone
Yukon
making
with the
themselves
snapping
known.
Mastiff, and my god, we're getting third party in here. Yukon are having to deal with ones coming down from inside the building and ones that are already in the building. As Tunics that take down Cherry, and now Seafair trying to stay alive. You've got a team on his left, he's got a team at his front, but he's going to get the Newcastle revive in place here as his teammate Majestic will watch over the top of them. So thankfully they survive that. Meanwhile, Zipline Destroyers on the other side are trying to deal some extra damage here and trying to get these fights against Gen X Orbital, but oh my god, it's just getting so much. There's Gibby bubbles everywhere, there's shield walls everywhere, there's lifeline all going off, and it's all about this position inside the building. One slides on in. Meanwhile, Gen X Basilisk will be eliminated, and that's 2 Girls, 1 Gibby that will find that kill here on Rim to finish it off. And the teams down here are just going to be fighting for their lives in this placement pot. They're pretty much all beside each other. The only 2 teams that aren't... Oh, it's 2 Girls, 1 Gibby is out. They're going to have a new winner in this lobby, ladies and gentlemen. A new lobby winner.
The old men of Noctum are putting their best foot forward. They've already taken down 1 to the ring. Now falls a second. They want to take the high ground here. And the Red Lotus, the last player, the solo, just trying to hide away. But there's only so much running and hiding you can do from Noctum. Zipline Destroyers now in a 2v2 in this building against Yukon to see who can come out the benefactor and take over this positioning in general. On the other side of things, we also see Yukon, who are holding, sorry, not Yukon, we are also seeing Zipline Destroyers, as well as, I believe, another team potentially on the roof. So there's quite a lot of teams in that area, as well as the team outside, across the way, I guess we can always say, in Old Men of Noctum.
Yeah, Old Men of Noctum just holding that spot here, keeping it in nice position for them. Looking for the people that maybe have to change out, because you've got plenty of teams still fighting out. There's 4 other teams in that same building and in and around it at least, looking to pretty much whittle each other down, and before we knock them know about it, they'll have a full, maybe 1 squad potentially that'll make it out alive. Maybe more. We'll wait and see. Who's going to make that move early though, as the zone starts to make its way in? You do see Aquazi, Gen X Orbital on top of the rail path here. Who's going to have the opportunity here? Right across from the Old Men of Noctum, trying to find the picks. Good shots being had there from the flat line of Sentinel. He's going to shoot War in the back. He'll drop Kenzie. It's going to give them that opening. Meanwhile, teams are rotating themselves towards the Noctum side here. Sentinel will fall. He's going to have to leave it on his teammates. Newcastle wall comes out here as well, and now Charge has to stop that revive for now because he thinks the fight is more important than the revive of his teammate, although that is the Newcastle that is downed. Charge is going to have to find the shots here. The Mastiff's missing. Charge will fall. It's all down to York.
All down.
Can flagging York do it? Yes, he does. He eliminates Gen X Orbital. Will he get his teammate up? He's going to have to get...
Well, it's a 1v1 currently.
This
The
is
rest
the
are
rough
coming
position.
through. Let's see who is going to come out the benefactor. The res attempt from Sinku, but that's going to be taken down and shut down. York now to do it all here on the other side of things, but Zipline Destroyers can't hold on any longer. And Old Men have knocked him. They're going to pick up a win here in Game 5.
Here we go. We said it was a new winner. It's the Old Men of Noctum. They're not so new as their name suggests. However, they do find the win. They have got the points that they most likely were looking to need because it was getting really tight for the Old Men of Noctum, and thankfully that final for that game will probably cement themselves in that top 20. Thankfully, that's exactly what they needed for it. My nose needs to stop running. I swear to God, it's been about a week and a bit, and I feel like my nose runs quicker than I do on Apex gaming, that's for sure. No better.
Honestly,
15 kills.
The feeling is relatable.
Yeah, it is very much though. This is the time of the year. It's the worst time. Your voice is going, your nose is going, everything just can't hold on till the end. And definitely an old man at myself, and I just can't perform the same as some other old men like these team of Noctum, who did get 15 kills to their name in that game as well, and that first place spot, which means in this scoreboard, in the scoring side of things, it's going to make it jump completely because the Old Men of Noctum were within 6th spot, right? Prior to that, 27 points on the board. That is going to shoot them at least up to 4th here, I think, right? The way that things stand, Old Men of Noctum actually puts them up into 3rd spot. So looking at that leaderboard as it stands, ladies and gents, you can see Toast of Mista still leading the way pretty convincingly. And then you've got Nappy Militants, Old Men of Noctum, jumps all the way up into 1st spot here, pushing down 2 Girls, 1 Gibby, Zipline Destroyers down to 5th, Yukon, Peen, Gen X Orbital, KCL Koalas, and on the verge is Ante with 1 match left to go. Yeah, 30 points is definitely guaranteeing yourself through. However, with these guys on the edge, you've got FDR on 21 points, literally 2 points behind Ante. They'll be fighting it off to see who goes into this one. Who's going to miss out here? Just so close to the edge here as well for some. Liverpool's, even with 15, a good game can put them up here as well. But yes, everybody's to play for at the end here for the last few teams.
I think realistically, we've got 6 teams locked in. I think Keen could be very well locked in if they get a couple more points, but they can still be knocked out if a couple of these teams like FDR, Liverpool, Dogs of Hell have a good final game. I would be looking towards 8 teams pretty much locked in at this point, though. If, you know, everything goes like it has been so far, we need to see some other teams step up because we've had some performances from some teams that we really, you know, haven't expected so far. And maybe these teams can be doing better than they are, but we will now be jumping over to Game 6, to that final match mark of the night, and this is where we start sending teams to the finals or sending them to one final chance.
Yeah, exactly that. Will we see a second same winner on the World's Edge map here? We've seen it from the Toast of Mista squad over on Stormpoint. Will we see a winner from World's Edge win again, or are we going to see a completely different new winner overall from tonight? Because Toast of Mista's won a couple. You've seen Old Men of Noctum win 1. You've seen 2 Girls, 1 Gibby win 1, and Nappy Militants win 1, right? And that's everybody that's won 1, I'm sure.
Oh, I love this comp, by the way. Can I just interrupt you there and
you
talk about this comp from FDR? We're seeing Revenant. I love it.
My tab is not want to work and show the thing, but we'll do it in just a second. There we go. FDR. Yeah, that's the same. Yeah, that's what we had the other game in Stormpoint. When I was like, I don't know the name with the red mask. I don't know the guy's name. I knew it was a Caustic, but then after that, I didn't know who the other guy that Romanoff was acting as. But
speaking of
yeah,
him, though,
they played this already before. Let's see if this works out once again for FDR, because they have had some good games in this, right? And considering they're 2-man, they're on that verge of the top 10. They're currently sitting in 11th spot, 2 points behind Ante. They've got 10 kills to their name as a 2. It's definitely doable, right? A good game out of them here could change things completely. As
I think this is where your IGL's got to step up if you're FDR. That's, I think, the best way of putting it.
well, if it's freezing, he's not even moving, so it's going to be a very tough ask from him to start with, but eventually he starts to make a move on the map. He does eventually move, thankfully.
That's good. Let's go. Well,
here we go then.
A lot of teams within a fighting chance.
I think this last time as well, this last map, a lot of people died really early on, right? And you can see the map now pulling towards the south side between Lava Siphon. This is going to go towards the Dome, do you reckon? Or launch site, maybe?
I think this is going to go towards Dome, and this is such a brutal zone for every team coming from the north. Essentially, it's going to boil down to teams gatekeeping, everyone trying to run up the hill late, and them just getting absolutely shredded. So you really have to be like one of the first teams to get to this zone, or it becomes so increasingly difficult to run up all these hills that you need to get over towards the Dome area. So teams like Dogs of Hell, teams like Two Girls One Gibby, teams like Gen Z Basilisk, all in really good spots here. Same thing can be said for Graffiti Gorillas, who haven't had the best performance today, but they have launch site open as well for them to take. So a couple of good rotations that we can see from some of these teams, and we're already seeing one coming through from Zipline Destroyers as they're beginning to make their way towards the zone. Some teams who I don't think have to worry as much are the likes of Peen, the likes of Old Men of Noctum, who are pretty much already locked in, but the Old Men of Noctum might have to worry a little bit when it comes to just this game, because, well, that is Charge Rifle already going down.
What happened to that? I didn't even see. I would literally just jump on board there. I didn't see the what happened to him though. Who's he getting shot at from? Orbital. Phoenix with the charged rifle. Getting shot by a charged rifle. Imagine that.
But we have a bit more of a scuffle happening down towards Stacks, which is possibly a bit more interesting than what's going on there. And this is actually quite an interesting one in itself, because Dogs of Hell have left the POI, which is in the sort of prime spot in zone, to go down towards Stacks and take a fight against Gen Z Basilisk. But the thing is, there's also a couple of teams who are in the vicinity who could be ready to third party, so they've got to be very, very careful with how they take this. And right now, it seems like they just want to go for the kills, go for the aggressiveness, but this could not work out in their favour, and I'm not quite sure what spot they're in. Yeah, I think Dogs of Hell really need these points as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they definitely do. It's going to be one of these things where it's going to be down to the fact that they're on that verge, or maybe even further away than they need to be to even get a chance, as Gavin Gaming Team will be eliminated early on here. Guess who's getting the kills? It's only Toast and Mista to start off with, and you'd expect that to be the case as it starts under the way. Toast and Mista just outperforming everybody else in the lobby in the grand scheme of things. He's currently on 2 kills at the moment already. His teammates finding 1, and now next fights that we're going to see, they're right next to Yukon and FDR, and FDR, like we said, they're down to a 2-man. Like they've been fighting this, trying to stay on that verge of that match point opportunity here. They need to try and not give away their position too early though, when there's people around like that in a way.
Absolutely.
It's a very difficult ask if you're going to start fighting Yukon, who's right next to them.
We already see a lot of teams moving towards the zone. We starting to get quite populated, and one of those teams is Graffiti Gorillas. They need a big game here if they want to be locking things in for the match point finals in 2 weeks' time. But they have the chance to make it happen. They have a fight in front of them, and they have that opportunity. Relatively third party list for the for the sense of things, but Two Girls One Gibby, they've rotated away a little bit, and that's a smart decision for them not to take that fight. They're a team who's already locked themselves in for the match point finals, but Toast and Mista already getting themselves involved once again, looking to try and chase down these kills even more. And it's against Yukon, who are already qualified, but Hardy just doesn't miss. Like you say, that Nemesis shot's absolutely ripping through the brains of Yukon, as another one is going to fall, and Toast and Mista are running this lobby once again.
Yeah, at least looking for that hunt now. Majest is the next to fall, and there's one player left. Cherry trying to stay alive for as long as possible. Goes for the beatdown, knocks them down, but will be eliminated, and Yukon are out of the battle. And I think that puts them, in the grand scheme of things, out of the position of the top 10. No, actually, Yukon are on 6, so I think they might be okay. They're at 41 points. They should be okay. Yukon are out early, but I don't think it's going to affect them in that top 20 position. Meanwhile, up north here, you've got Akuzi, you've got fighting where the old men have knocked him. The shield wall coming out, but he flips it to the other side of the building. That's a great Newcastle ult, but York chases him straight on down. He's going to go up there, but decides against it, realising there is players behind him. He'll turn, he'll burn him, and Orbital will fall, and that'll be them out of the match out. And all of a sudden, Charged Rifle does get knocked down. Blood Wolf sending out decoys left, right, and centre. Sharigan trying to get them confused here as they do find Charge and knock him out of the matchup. Where's his teammates though? Old men have knocked him. Sentinel falling as well. Down to 1 HP. That's just to get the heal off though. But the Bangalore is coming in. The team are right next to him. They're starting to chase him down. That's going to be Sentinel down. Koalas trying to finish that one off here as well. And that's it. Page will find that. Now, one player left. That's York. He's now being chased down as well. Omen knocked him, sending the 2 fingers up from the Valkyrie. Thinking, peace out here, I'm out. They're going to have to try and piece it out because he's got too many teams.
Meant for them.
No, I don't think it did. But we're saying peace out because we are PG here. But as much as possible, at least.
as long as I can possibly can.
Yeah, as much as we possibly can, but sometimes there's just some unreal plays that you just can't not help but emphasize it in any other way than the F word. Meanwhile, Peen decided we're going to go to the edge of the circle fight and we're going to get involved here because there's a couple of teams on this edge. We could look for a fight. We could find Noctum maybe on the edge of the circles looking for that fight so they can finish above them because that's exactly what Peen need to be doing here as well. Their points would be mainly to find a position in the leaderboard by the end of this one. But there's still plenty of teams to be had, still plenty of KP to be had. And then, like you said, down south here towards the zone, so many teams are starting to accumulate into a position, setting themselves up. Sharigan will find Spicy Chicken. He'll be traded out by Page. And then all of a sudden, Garbanzo and the crew of Peen head on down here using that lifeline ability to slide on in. They do see the Gibby Bubble though, and it's going to be the opportunity here. Blood Wolves do get eliminated in the meantime, and now they chase on the inside. Newcastle decides, I'll find you out. I don't care if you're in a bubble whatsoever. I'll slide on in. You'll find that knock. You'll find that kill. And now Peen chasing more kills here as they look to jump over the rockery. Are they going to find anybody more?
I think like you say, the F word is needed in certain situations, and I think that's a very fitting one because what the fiddlesticks just happened right there?
I don't even know. I prefer the duck one because it's like playing chicken Ellie as well. But I mean, duck, goose. Oh, what a duck!
Well, it's duck dogs right now because right now we find ourselves over. See, I make the best transitions, Kurt. You know, I'm available any day. But Dogs of Hell currently find themselves over towards Stacks and in need of points. We talk about some of these teams like Blood Wolves that just got eliminated. They will be having to fight for their life in the elimination bracket alongside a couple more teams that have already dropped. On the other side of things, though, Dogs of Hell, they've been in a bit of a contention against Gen Z Basilisk here for quite a while. And it's just really advanced, but what?
Nappy Militants didn't expect the old men have knocked him to be round the corner. They were just sitting waiting for their praise. Flagging that York has left the last man alive here. And eventually he will get the team of Nappy Militants. They were literally around that rock, right? Nobody even seen them. I seen them on the map and I was like, wait a minute. You've got Nappy Militants coming down that pathway, the only one way they can go, and they just got ambushed by the old men have knocked them. Somehow survived it as well. And in that meantime, Lou Hardy is finding some more kills, and I think that will make them the kill leader. It definitely isn't him though, it is his teammate Chico. But their position quite high up here. They've got a good position to sight over to see where they're going to be moving towards. You've got two teams on the edge of zone here. That's the old men have knocked them. And then you've got the team of KCL Koalas who had a great last match, having to fight their way back out of that zone through the tunnels, and they might actually bump into the old men have knocked them or be checked out of that zone. None other than Toaster Mister.
Yep.
Valkyrie all coming out though, and that's exactly what you want to do to try and get yourself into that ring and away from harm as quickly as possible.
Oh. We also might be seeing the end of Dogs of Hell right now because Peen are suppressing them on the top of the building in stacks, trying to find a way to survive. Dogs of Hell managed to buy themselves a second, but for how long? As they managed to get away 2 of them and look to try and fully reset. Peen also doing the same thing, and Dogs of Hell give themselves a moment to breathe, give themselves a lifeline, pun not intended, to try and breathe and get some more points here, potentially break their way in.
Up, right, and Noctum's decided to go towards it, but who's going to be chasing him on down for that Mythic Bin? It's none other than Tostamista, and this could be the battle of all ages here in our final matchup here. It's getting in. All of a sudden, Sentinel is knocked. Lou Hardy, who doesn't miss shots with that massive, will find the first knock. Genix is eliminated in the meantime, but now, are they going to find the remaining squad of Noctum? The answer is yes. Charge Rifle is the next to fall. Tostamista looking to wipe the floor with the old men, and they're doing exactly that here as they get the revive in. There is only one member left of Noctum, and that's York. He'll get out with his life as a Valkyrie and fly off to safety as quickly as he can, which means that Mythic Bin will go into the hands of Tostamista, and that's going to make it a very difficult game for anybody else in the lobby to win.
I thought we got past Halloween here a little bit, but it seems that Tostamista want us to relive the spooky dreams of our past, and potentially give us flashbacks to Game 1, give us flashbacks to last week where we saw 4 wins from them, and in the first week as well, we saw 4 wins from them. They are such a dominant team when they have the resources available to them. And, well, in terms of the old men of Noctum, it's all up to York right now to try and get these banners crafted and respawned, because otherwise...
I don't even think he's going to survive to even get the chance to get there, but you just never know. They are being hunted down, and he's getting shot at from another position here as well. Now, into the open, it is Chico. He doesn't miss them shots. And there we go, Old Men of Noctum are eliminated in 12th spot. And that was never going to go nicely. A Hemlock in hand. Chico finds the kill. Doesn't miss.
On the other side of things, Peen are taking the fight to KCL Koalas, and KCL Koalas hold one of those bubble positions right now. They will drop, and they will have to wait and see how everyone else performs before they know if they are confirmed a spot in the grand finals in 2 weeks' time. It's all going to be up in the air here in this final match before we get to see how everyone is going to throw down in these crucial moments. But 2 Girls, 1 Gibby, a team who's been consistent so far today, and they've managed to find themselves, I guess, a little bit of a home in this building for the time being, just holding things down, and they've done so well so far at it. But now they see a bit of a contestant on their roof as Misa tries to spot it out, but here comes the bowling ball, here comes Maggie, and here comes Tostamista.
Yeah, this is going to be a tough ask here for anybody inside this fight. He's going to catch him off. The shots are missing out from the EVA 8 here. VK might actually be in a tough position, but 2 Girls, 1 Gibby are eliminated. Lou Hardy comes from the top ropes, just like Jeff Hardy. And all of a sudden, 2 Girls, 1 Gibby are no Girls, and definitely no Gibby left alive here in this lobby. We're into the top 9. This position is now going to eat up here. Who's going to go looking for kills? Obviously, Tostamista are still looking for them.
Hang on. Look at where FDR are when you get the chance. I know Tostaminista's in a bit of a fight right now, but look where FDR currently
just ran behind the wall.
They're currently in centre zone, by the way, but Tostamista in a fight, so we'll get to that a little bit later. On the other side, here comes Peen. They're looking to try and third-party the fight. They're looking to try and take over as well. Meanwhile, Tostamista taking that fight. Zipline Destroyers also in the action against Peen in this fight. And, well, the third party could very well come through. We'll have to see. Zipline Destroyers, though, taking that fight against Tostamista now as they roll in. Peen also in the action. Everyone wants a piece of this fight, Mark, and at the end of the day, only one team can survive, and it's Tostamista.
Zipline Destroyers are still inside here, but they are very much weakened here. Tostamista at a full complement. Only 1 member left of Zipline Destroyers. Should I say 0 members of Zipline Destroyers as Tostamista make sure that is finished with. And look at this. They're just going to continue it because they've spotted another player on the horizon. It's FDR, and they don't want to fight that either. But, oh my god, there's just so much for them. They're chasing on down. Dogs of Hell hiding. They're going to get absolutely bounced on. Inside.
Oh my word.
Oh no. Dogs of Hell. We're just trying to dog it out. They're just finished and off, and all of a sudden
Tostamista
look like they're in this position to win this game. I've lost my whole teams on the map. I don't know what's going on. I can't see the players. There we go. Now we can. God, somebody must have popped
FDR still can get through.
FDR, yeah. I mean, this is the position they needed. They've ratted it out till the very end. They've not got a kill on the board. They don't need a kill on the board. They just need points.
It's
They're on that
essentially
edge.
a game of everyone run away from Tosta Mista, because that's exactly what's happening, right? Tosta Mista is running at everyone one by one, so you essentially just don't want to be the next team in their firing line. And, well, unfortunately for Liverpool, that's exactly the situation they find themselves in right now.
Yeah, they're just
Liverpool, I
chasing.
believe, are a team who aren't quite in that top 10, so Liverpool's, well, they need
Liverpool
to...
are 12, you're right. They're 15 points as well, so they do need to stay alive here and get as many points as possible if they can to even try and get to that 10th spot. So, yeah, it's going to be a tough ask for them when Tossa Mista's on your hunt. Speaking of which, does they get down Freezy of FDR, so for FDR, who are struggling as well in that position close by, there we're going to fall, at least one of them down, there we go, Romanov is the next one to fall, FDR, I wonder if they've done enough in that one to stay alive and get the points.
We'll confirm it at the end. Tosta Mista, though, they're just going to look to continue their killing spree, look to continue their rampage, look to continue what we've known from them so far. But I love this positioning from Outlaws, by the way. It's all the teams who need to show up, really showing up here. But especially from the Pathfinder, the Lifeline is in a bit of an interesting situation. But the Pathfinder, unchallenged on the high ground and essentially just gifted free placement points if he plays his cards correctly. And meanwhile, I guess you can just sit there and wait for Tosta Mista to just run through the lobby, because that's exactly what they're going to do. It's a perfect opportunity to use the bowling ball, and it's 10-pin bowling here. It's a strike for Hardy. Tosta Mista looking to continue their killing spree as they pick up a couple more, but one's gone down. So
that was Outlaws. He just came up on top of as well. The zipline of Chico swung up on top, and all of a sudden seen one player standing up there. Outlaws couldn't do anything about it. They literally just got shot in the back, and he got as far as he possibly could. Now we're into the top 3 squads. We got Tosta Mista all fighting out for the win here. Liverpool's doing some fantastic work to stay alive.
They're on 27 kills right now
Till this point, and this is disgusting. And then you got Anti.
They could a 40-point game.
They could. There's that option here. They have done it. They've been very close to it. They've never done a full 40, I don't think, yet. Are they going to try and do it in this one? They need to finish everybody off, though, do they?
Kill. They need one more kill.
Oh,
and
God.
a win. One more kill and a win would do it. We'll have to see if they're going to do it. Liverpool still holding strong in this building, and Tosta Mista playing the outside to perfection right now. Also on the high ground is Anti, a team who we haven't really seen, but they've always still been there. It sort of feels like Tosta Mista confidently in that first place spot, but now they look to challenge for the high ground. They're confident that they can win this fight, and with the backup from the teammates, who would say otherwise? But Anti want to try and res on this high ground, want to try and stabilize, but now in comes Liverpool. They take to the high ground, they rise up to the heavens, but they will come crashing down for the time being, as there's 2 squads remaining and Tosta Mista, one more player left. Chico grapples to the high ground to try and regain some hope here in this game.
2 versus 3, Liverpool's with the opportunity to win this game here, and we're going to have so many winners in this winners bracket if it goes that way. But can the one final member find all 3 kills here? And that's Tosta Mista. Can Chico rat it and wait for that opportunity? He finds a respawn beacon. He's not going to be able to do that, surely not. Not in that zone. Not with that amount of damage that's going to be done. He's calling it in there to bait them in, though. Definitely find himself in a better position. Gets that ninja style. Can he use it to his advantage? Sends the air nade. The sky nade from the top. Sends it down. Now it's his opportunity here. Can he do something with it? One. Oh, the shield comes out. All of a sudden, Liverpool's have enough members to stay alive. Liverpool's find the win. And guess what? We needed a good performance from them. They were on 15 points prior to this. They were in 12th spot in the group stages prior to this game.
That should be enough, right? Surely.
That could well have finished their position to get in to that winners match point finals. We'll have to wait and see, because Anti and FDR and Liverpool's were all close by, and they were all close to them points and high points there. But did they get enough kills? Did they get extra KP points that will add that up? We're going to have to wait and see.
I only have one question, and that's how many, well, I have 2. Who's in the top 10, and how many points did Liverpool accumulate that game? Because, no, I mean Tosta Mista, sorry, because 28 kills, 2nd place. It's not quite the full 40, but they have managed to get a good amount of points. It doesn't really matter at this point, let's be honest. Liverpool's, though, 12 placement points alongside 5 eliminations, Mark. That's
Okay.
a good game for them. That's the game they needed.
Yeah, that is exactly that. And guess where that shot them up to? Liverpool have made it with a win, a 5-kill game, exactly what they needed, but it's pushed them up to
Ooh.
8th spot in the leaderboard. Let's have a look over there at our final leaderboard to determine our top 10. Tossamista undoubtedly knew that was going to be the case, the way that they started off, the way that they found a couple of wins early on in Storm Point.
Can I just query you on this one, by the way? I'm not sure if that's exactly right because on the header at the top of the game it said something different. So I'm not sure if that's perfect, but
What do you mean?
You'll tell me otherwise. You know, in the header on the top of the game when you've got it on stream, it said KCL Koalas were in 10th with 33 points.
Where? On what?
In
On
the, when you're in the game and you've got that ticker at the top of the screen which has like all the points rolling along the top.
Ah, is that not maybe the team before it is 33 and their thing was going along the bottom? Hold on. In the game. Yeah, the ticker.
Yeah, that thing there. It said that KCL Koalas was in 10th with 33 points. So it might be worth just checking.
Oh, that's it refreshed, so I don't know why the tickers. Maybe the tickers still accumulating some other score, maybe?
Not sure.
That could be wrong.
Or maybe that's ahead of the leaderboard. I don't know.
Yeah, because none of them scores are light for anybody on it for some reason.
Right.
Yeah, Old Men and Nocturne were on 59. I think it's picked up another lobby for some reason on that.
All right.
On the ticker, I can check that, but maybe it just needs a refresh the ticker because I've not refreshed the ticker. I've just put it on to the date. So I was to do it now. It might work. I don't know. See, winners might refresh it. Wait and see. But yeah, the ticker. I wouldn't worry about that. The leaderboard is what's came up here for the overall. And Tossa missed 123 points, 88 kills. Seems about right in the grand scheme of things. I think 160 points would have been a bit crazy. I don't think they were dominating, but they weren't as dominating as they have been. Some of the games, obviously losing out quite early on and not getting score points. So we'll wait and see. But we'll double check it at the end, make sure that everything kind of makes sense and it all ties up with the games in the lobby, because obviously we've got the matches here in the match summary. But our top 10 going to match point finals will be Tossamista, Nappy Militants, Old Men of Knocked Up, 2 Girls, 1 Gibby, Zipline Destroyers, Peen, Yukon, Liverports, Anti, and Gen X Orbital. That is our top 10. That is that's great. It's great to see them here. And then you see the losers bracket there as well. You've got Maple, Boinky Bridge, 2 Minute Esports, Abertay Alpaca, Zimmerframe, St. Nessie, Warwick Warriors, Angerfood, and Straw Hat Pirates and ATC coming out of that losers bracket. Only 2 players, sadly, and 2 teams, sorry, because of the DQs and the teams that didn't turn up this evening that obviously drop out of the eliminations and no longer will participate in the next 2 weeks. But that's 404 and Angry Squad. Unlucky there, but KCL Koalas and all the way down to Gen X Basilic will have another opportunity here in the next losers bracket. Done? Yes, I think so.
All right.
I'll just double check, but I'm sure theirs is all done. Week 6.
Regardless, it's a good effort from everyone.
They've got one more match, I think. One more matchup.
All right.
So yeah, there is still a chance for 404 and Angry Squad to get out. So we'll wait and see. But yeah, it's been a fantastic one for sure. The winners bracket closely contested, other than Tossamista, who is if they weren't in the lobby, things might have been a massive difference. But Tossamista just showing their dominance once again. Every week they've been here, every week they've turned up. They've got multiple wins under the belt. They've got stupid amount of KP behind them. And yeah, they're just going to be the team to beat when it comes to match point finals, because I'm sure they'll be the first team to get to that opportunity to get match point. Whether they get it and they win after it, because we have seen them get to match point today pretty much, but they never went for the match point because there's no match point to play for. It's just KP, so they were just going for points. So do they play it differently when it comes to it next week? Probably. Maybe win it in 3. We'll wait and see. Hopefully not. We want a good fair contest, don't we? We want a good one in 2 weeks time. We want to see this massive, because our first match point finals was about 6 matches, I think, before or 4 matches, I think it was at least. But yeah, sometimes it could fly by. Sometimes you think, more than one team are going to make it to match point finals. Before you know it, 6 points teams are on it. Then 7 teams, 8 teams. You're like, oh my god, somebody's just got to win this at some point, surely. Like, I want it to be like that. I want these long nights. We want to see these Apex legends going all the way to the bitter end. Imagine having the top 10 or 11 players teams with an opportunity to win at match point. That would just be phenomenal. But
that'd be cool.
It would be a very late one. That'd be sure.
I mean, yeah, the most we've ever had in Apex was 14 with about 17 teams on match point, and like, I mean, that's just in the history of Apex Comp, and that was a match point final to remember. But I think in terms of this, I think we'd be more looking towards maybe 8-9 game series, potentially a couple more, but we are going to have first team to 60 points to then win a game is going to win the whole thing. So it's going to be interesting. But before we get to that, we've got to get to Losers Bracket Round 2, and that's coming up next week, isn't it?
Yeah, that's exactly that. Next week, we'll see Losers Bracket. It'll be also live here on the same channel. So make sure you have hit that follow button on the Caledonia Esports. They'll be doing the Losers Brackets for their opportunity to see who makes it to the match point finals to join our top 10, as we mentioned here from the Winners Bracket. And the guys that didn't manage to make it have another opportunity here to try and fight for that match point finals. And if they play anywhere near similar to what they have been playing today, considering, they all have a good opportunity going into it, and there'll only be a few teams that will be missing out on it. For me, that's been fantastic working alongside you once again, Hodge. Your knowledge is far superior, and I like to hear it, and I love to hear everything that's going on, and the fact that you could just explain exactly what has happened, where we're going, what we're going to do, and what's going to happen for what reason. Because for me, I just see people pulling out a gun, taking some shots and shooting some heads off, and that's exactly what Toast Mista did tonight. They found plenty of heads throughout this evening, but I'm glad to see it wasn't just an outright dominance from Toast Mista. We did see other teams topping the leaderboard, topping that final spot, and actually beating out Toast Mista in the matches as well in some games where it's been fantastic. So I really do appreciate it. Thank you very much for coming along.
Oh no, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for putting me in place when I inevitably yap too much and get a little bit yap heavy when it comes to those final circles. Get a little bit involved in the action, and reminding me that I am in fact the colour caster here, or supposedly, I'm
each our own. We get hyped.
We all get hyped. We all get a little bit overzealous, is the word that you used there. And yeah, it's. I think at the end of the day, we've had a lot of fun, and we always have a lot of fun here on the Caledonia streams. So I think that's the main thing, and we will of course be having fun over the next 2 weeks as we hop in to our lower bracket round 2 and our match point finals. But I don't know if you've got anything else to add to that, but I think that's all from me.
That's all from you. It's all from me. That's at the end of the night. Well, at the end of the day, what is it? It's night, and that's exactly what it is. We're going to say good night on that note. Thank you very much. Tune in next week once again, and we will see you over there. I'm sure it's not going to be our lovely selves next week, though, Hodge. We'll get a little bit of a rest break to see. We can sit and chill and watch maybe in the background just to see who's going to be competing against our top 10 from this winners bracket. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for the follows. Thanks for everything. Make sure you hit up the socials as well for Caledonia Esports, whether it's TikTok, you've got the Twitch, you've got to hit that follow button. Everything costs nothing. It costs you nothing to hit that follow, hit that like. If it's YouTube, subscribe. You know what I mean? It's all free of charge, but it all supports the stream. It supports Caledonia Esports. It supports us having a little bit of enjoyment out of what we love to watch and do, and that's cast, and that's watching games and playing games as well. For all these people that are involved, that are watching and playing, they've also got their own streams going as well. So some of these players that are competing are streaming live on Twitch as well, or on Kick, wherever they choose to stream as well. They're all streaming on that as well. So it's good to see, and we'll push out as much as possible. Join the Discord if you want to get involved in any of the future tournaments as well. And on that note, double pacing. We'll catch you in a couple of weeks, and at least for me and Hodge anyway, but next week for the final chance to make match point finals.